Yeah, the Bitcoin price right now alone is news itself. I mean, holy shit. Got my bongs clean. That's good news. Got my bongs clean. Got a bunch of Gorilla Glue seeds over here. And make sure there's no seed in that. Okay, Sean, Josh, Sean, what's up, guys?
Been waiting for the live show.
Have you? Well,
Howdy.
that's nice to hear. That's nice.
Sean, aka Trendy Orca.
Hey.
Top of the afternoon to you.
Top of the afternoon to you too, buddy. Fantastic. I'm so glad you guys are here.
Patrick John Welder.
Hey, Patrick.
Hello, Nay. Show. Les Peter Guitar Jam.
Moo.
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 Moo. Moo.
Moo.
Okay, there is chat. This one, right? No.
Sean, aka Trendy Orca. I'm feeling trendy as fuck.
Good, me too, man. Me too. There's the chat. Good. So, I made a video on Truthier, you guys. It's at Truthier on YouTube, but we'll watch it right now. It's a long one. It's 3.5 minutes long. And it just basically goes over Jimmy Dore and me going at it. You know, it's me holding Jimmy's feet to the fire is what this video is. And I would love to show it to you guys while we're smoking a nice big
Josh
fat
G.
bong rip.
I was watching the premiere.
Oh, were you there? You were the person that was there. Oh, I saw someone was there. Thank you, buddy. All right, well, I'll pull that up right now. Hell, we can watch it from... Oops. That's the wrong folder. There we go. Okay, so here's the video. Go over here like
Sean,
that.
aka Trendy Orca. Waiting on my GF to get off work in all a good day made even better by Nay podcasting my AV.
Nice. All right, so here's the video, guys. Let's smoke and enjoy this video. I hope you guys like it.
Because that sets me
Sean,
up.
aka Trendy
To see a guy
Orca.
like that who I know knows better
Nay is the
come
best.
and gaslight you like that, that does get my dander
No
up.
law
So
regarding cannabis.
all I'm saying
Everybody
is,
cheers. Cheers, Cyber.
if you ever see me
Cheers.
doing
Happy
that, please let
420,
me
everybody.
know, because it's shameful.
Jimmy Dore
Sean, aka Trendy
went
Orca.
to Italy in September
Cheers.
2018. Here's a tweet from September 24th, 2018.
Dakota Goodwin.
He's using
Dakota
Vodafone
Goodwin's all.
IT,
What's up, Dakota?
an Italian wireless carrier, Vodafone IT. A day later, on September 25th, 2018,
This doesn't prove nothing.
at libtard01, tweets a screenshot that shows his wireless carrier
Tony Danny.
is
Hello,
Vodafone
Nay and
IT.
That's a
Tony's
coincidence.
Annie. Jimmy used the account libtard01 under the name Two Codes. This shows a screenshot of the fake account. It says he was tweeting anti-Semitism from there via Fiora Ella Isabel from the Convo We Make Stuff Up couch. I personally confronted Jimmy on both Twitter and via my podcasts. And here you can see both at the same time. Both my tweet superimposed with one of my live streams. So I hope you guys like the artsiness of it. Oh my God! Somebody found a tweet. I haven't even read it yet, man. I got it up on the screen. I haven't even read it. Somebody found a tweet from the sock account. So somebody is saying that from this account, Jimmy Dore used this fake account to go after Jank. So what Jimmy Dore said to Jank from this other account was, Jank's obsessed with Jimmy. So he speaks about himself in the third person. It's just so funny. My 80-year-old mom's laughing at Jimmy Dore referring to himself in the third person. If Jimmy Dore calling himself Jimmy Dore isn't the funniest thing you've seen today, you truly are a lemming. This mashup proves that even when smearing Bernie's press secretary as a fake leftist, he still can't stop thinking and talking about @Jimmy_Dore nonstop. So Ray says Jimmy Dore tweeting about how obsessed Jank is with him from an alt account is so fucking funny. I love how calm I am in all these clips. This was Jimmy Dore's response. You're blocked.
Because that sets me off. To see a guy like that who I know knows better come and gaslight you like that, that
Patrick
does
John
get my
Welder.
dander up. So all I'm
I
saying
couldn't
is,
stop laughing at your tweet
if you
with
ever see
DeSantis
me
as a
doing-
cross-dresser. Wait, I have something to add. Penis.
Really, dumbass? You couldn't wait for the fucking video to finish for 15 more seconds so you could say the word penis? You're a douchebag, bro. Hold on one second. I appreciate your comment, but now I got to play this over again. It's the fucking end of the video, man. Come on, you knew that.
who I know knows better come
Put
and
your boner
gaslight
back
you
in your
like
pants.
That does get my dander up. So all I'm saying is, if you ever see me doing that, please let me know, because it's shameful.
If we ever see you doing that, let you know, because it's shameful. Well, we let you know, Jimmy, and you know what? You blocked me on Twitter. And all of you should go tell Jimmy Dore that he's a piece of shit for blocking me for doing exactly what he requested us to do if we ever saw him gaslighting and fucking people up, anonymously. All right, you can talk now, Patrick John Welder. The video is over now. So you couldn't stop laughing.
Bach 804. Privet Comrade Coach F Flag D3 Bay Bigalapa Arpai.
Privet Comrade Bach 804. What's up, my brother? How are you? I'm with you, man. I'm with you 100%. That's one flag I don't mind seeing. Isn't that funny? That's one flag I don't mind seeing in my fucking chat. That's like the first time that's ever happened. Huh. Isn't that weird? I'm biased. I'm fucking flag biased, baby.
Dakota Goodwin. Right, he can't be doing anything wrong.
Wait, dude, what Patrick John Welder
Sean,
just said
aka
about the
Trendy
cross-dressing DeSantis, I haven't shown my mom that
is
yet.
on the prowl.
I have to show my mom that. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. I'm telling you, she's going to love it.
Josh G. You take that block as a badge of honor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, bro, you know I do. Thank you for saying that. Absolutely, you know I do. I mean, dude, when I saw it, I was live on my podcast, and I threw my hands up in my air, and I was like, yes.
Can't believe he blocked you.
It's okay.
Josh G.
It's okay. I got 6 other fucking accounts
Personally
that follow
blocked by
him.
Jimmy for calling him out and letting him know it.
But he never followed me back. He never followed me back. His wife followed me back. The people that work for him followed me back, but he never followed me back. This Ron DeSantis video. Here it is. Mom, you got a half a minute. You can walk over here and look at a video really quick.
Josh G. I wonder if he will still be begging for your precious oil he so loves.
I want them to see your reaction to this video. Here, this is my mom, everybody. Mom.
Yes, hi.
Here, come on camera. Here, this is the camera.
Okay.
So just here.
You don't have. I don't have. They don't have. To
No. They got to see your reaction to this
Why?
video. No, because I want them to see your reaction to this video. Okay, you guys, we're going to play the Ron DeSantis video.
Oh, jeez.
I need to add something. Penis! That's funny. Tell another one.
Who did that?
I don't know who did it. Somebody sent it to me on Twitter. Or
That
something.
is hilarious.
Linda Straffen retweeted this.
Oh my God.
So I don't know where she got it from. But, you know,
Josh G.
who knows? Who
Oh
knows?
God. All right. May I leave now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You liked it, though, didn't you?
I thought that was funny as hell.
Yep. I knew she was going to like that video. I told you guys. My mom's going to, if anybody I know is going to really appreciate that video, it's going to be my mom.
Josh G. Mom's gonna be weak.
Does that mean their security team will make more? Yeah, right, Cyber? He retweeted that
Yeah.
shit, son. Yeah, the security team's going to make more than the politicians if they get minimum wage. You know, security people make a lot more money than minimum wage.
Yeah.
They're service personnel. Everyone will be making more money than them. Well, it finally paid off, guys. I looked in the backyard, and sure enough, there's a deer back there. So,
Nice.
yeah. There's just a big reflection. Okay, wait. I believe that's the deer right there. Yeah. And I can get this white screen.
Josh G.
Here. Watch this.
Are they making any predictions for the Florida election yet?
I can get this white screen off of here. There you go. Look at that. I don't know. You know, if you guys want to look that up, we can cover this while it's going on because I could pull up CNN right now. We could cover this live. We could even just have it in the corner and watch it, just like we're watching Bitcoins at 18.5. Remember, it got all the way down to like 17. Bitcoin went all the way down to 17.5 exactly today. I missed it. I could have bought some Bitcoin at 17.5. You know? Oh, God, I could have bet Bitcoin at 17.5. But 18.4 is where I was all excited that I got it at, right? And now it's at 18.5. So if it drops back down again, yeah, I'm going to get some. If I see it back down, oh, my God. Oh, what an opportunity. You guys realize when this happened, all the altcoins stayed up. Matic is still at like $1. Matic's at $1.04 right now. It's still over $1. So, you know, Cardano's at 37 cents. Ethereum dropped to 1,324. Harmony One is down to 1 cent. 710 actually. 0.01710. That's pretty easy to remember, huh? I bet you every single one of you can remember what Harmony One is at right now. 1 penny and 7/10 and 7/10.
Josh G.
It's in your heads.
Almost pulled the trigger, but was at work, couldn't get it to happen.
I don't know what you mean. Almost pulled the trigger. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's go to CNN.
Josh G.
Election
F fell
coverage.
to
They're
like
doing live election
1,200
coverage,
or something as well.
which I do appreciate on the CNN coverage. I do appreciate the live election coverage. You know, we can go back here and just do it like this. You know, we can do it like this. This is great. This retains everything on the page. And we get this.
Billy Ballantyne.
Billy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Billy.
Restream.io.
Happy birthday, Billy.
Congratulations. You've received 100 messages today with Restream Chat.
Dude, I was getting alerts and ignoring
Josh
them
G.
on my phone today.
Damn, we hit that 100 quick.
It was telling me that Bitcoin was going
Big
down
Nick
to
83.
17.5, and I was ignoring it
Yo,
because I'm an idiot. Hello to all 15 of you that are here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're watching some election coverage right here live from CNN. The first polls close here in 23 minutes. We'll be live with that. It looks like it's going to be a red wave. It really does. From the polling that CNN has done tonight, it looks like Republicans are just, even Democrats are just fed up with Joe Biden. That's what it seems like. So, ouch. It really hurts everyone. It's a sad day, man. It's a sad day in Mudville. And I just hope that they can retain as much, human rights as they can, man, because that's what all it's unfortunately that's all it comes down to now, is just trying. Politicians now are just going after people instead of trying to help people. They're just going after people. What the fuck happened? Why is that? They're supposed to be coming up with policies and legislation that helps people, and all they want to do is write legislation that hurts people. And you got to figure out who you're going to vote for, based on that. Who's trying to hurt it? And you need to hopefully you need to support all people and not being hurt.
Billy Ballantyne. Maybe they want Joe to enjoy the last year of his life on 2 feet.
Dude, is Bitcoin going to go back down to 17.5 again? What the fuck happened? Was that some announcement today? Was it that FTX shit that caused this? Because this was, I don't know how long ago this was. Actually.
Billy Ballantyne. Because old.
Because old. Yeah, I know.
Tony Zanny. Politicians are supposed to work together, not separate people by hate.
Bro, when was this fucking... What the fuck? Are you kidding me? What the fuck is all this? Whatever, dude. Bitcoin went it happened at noon today, okay? It started. And then by...
David's Honey. Hello, Nay, on this
Hey,
beautiful
David
day.
Honey, how's it going, buddy? It went from 20,672, right here. And it dropped, look at this, noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, a 4 o'clock rock, a 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock a rock, at 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock a rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Hey, when the clock strikes 1, move up then, rock around the clock again.
Billy
We're gonna
Valentine.
rock till broad daylight.
I
We're gonna
kinda
rock. Do some
Politicians
stuff.
literally have 2 parties.
Dude.
Not together whatsoever.
Dude.
Quite the contrary.
Dude. That is absolutely nothing. That is, I am pointing at absolutely nothing. Just so you guys know, that's yeah, there's nothing out there. Okay, so there's nothing out there. Okay. Lights have come on. Yes. All right, so what are we doing here? Looking at stuff. What is this video? I don't know. Why is there a video playing back here? Why is there a video playing back here? Isn't that weird? I don't know what that is. Oh, it's CNN. That's right. We're watching CNN. It's an advertisement on CNN. Cool. We'll let that ad run, and we'll just keep our eye on the elections. I think, you're going to see a lot of Republican victory going on. It's hard to say. Fucking hard to say, man. I feel sad for all the people that's going to hurt. It's probably going to help the economy, instantly. Like, people are going to invest in crypto. Like, if there's a big win, all of a sudden everyone's going to go buy crypto and shit. I don't know. You can't find,
Billy Ballantyne.
too much glory,
Whoa, what was that ad?
too many
It
positives.
soaked up the water. Holy future town space shit. Billy Ballantyne.
I'm sad for human rights, man.
Towels made of paper.
It's a loss for
On a roll.
It's a loss for
Get
all.
the fuck out.
It's a loss for all people that are marginalized in any way. And then all of us, because we've allowed this to happen. And we're all guilty, and we should feel like shit. And if you see any Republicans, that are celebrating this victory as they start coming in, understand what they're celebrating. They understand that they're celebrating people losing their rights, people losing their liberty, and that's what they're cheering on. I mean, I don't even want to get explicit with it, because the two people that are still watching on Rumble might catch on. Cyber's gonna be like, "Nah, man, I'm one of them." Where is Rumble? There it is. Is there anyone? Oh, it is Cyber. Moo. I see it. Moo. I went over onto YouTube. I was watching somebody. I can't remember. I went to somebody's podcast. They were live today. I can't remember who it was. And I couldn't. I think it was Lee Camp. And yeah, and he was at Mint Press TV. And there was no chat. I was like, I can't chat. I was like, there's no chat. I couldn't see chat. Yeah, I was like, do they not have chat? It didn't even say that there wasn't chat. I was on my cell phone, but I was like, wow, there's no chat. There's Anderson Cooper. We're going to have this guy
Tony
is
Zanny.
You guys remember
Didn't get a Rumble
Jeffrey
notification
Toobin?
going there now.
This is Mini Toobin. So he was like kind of the Toobin replacement. Looks just like him, just like puffed up though, like somebody stuck an air pump into Jeffrey Toobin and like he's a tube from an inner tube and puffed him up a little bit. And now that's like, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Toobin. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Toobin. Billy Ballantyne. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Toobin. Oh, I fucking nailed that one. All of you Ghostbusters fans out there, that motherfucker looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He does. Dude, put a little white hat on that guy and just dust him really quick in the face with some powder. Boom. Stay Puft. That's the dude. That's the dude. I mean, that's the dude. Imagine him angry and shit. Like let's say somebody screws up his order at a fancy restaurant, and imagine the scorn look on his face when he notices the plate puts down in front of him. Dude, it's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Bro, if you knew Jeffrey Toobin, you'd know these guys look like twins, except that guy's like a puffed up version of Toobin, which is hilarious. I mean, there's some people right now that are watching this. They're like, dude, I swear I thought that was Jeffrey Toobin. No, it's not. It looks like him, doesn't it?
Josh G. Penis pump tubing.
Now, what Cyber doesn't know about Jeffrey Toobin. Jeffrey Toobin is a CNN. He's like one of those people right there. He's a pundit on CNN, and he talks about politics and whatever. He was on a Zoom chat for an interview type setting. Whole bunch of people.
Billy Ballantyne.
I don't know what he was representing or whatever, but it was a professional Zoom
Just
chat.
needs a Lil Sailor cap. Also Fat Waldo. We're going through all the Waldos today.
And in the middle, it is, right? It is another Waldo. And in the middle of the fucking Zoom chat, Cyber, with all these people watching his cam, he just pulls out his dick and starts whacking off.
What?
Yep. He didn't realize that his cam was on. And he just had to crank one out.
Wow.
And dude, the backlash from it was instantaneous. It went like wildfire. It was all over the media. Everybody was talking about it. Dude, they covered it on CNN. He was put on leave or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, a couple months later, he's back on. And people are chuckling
Josh G.
and giggling.
LMFAO, the way you describe it is so funny.
It was awkward.
Josh G.
I mean, bro,
He just had to crank one out.
when you look up the word
Billy
awkward in
Valentine.
the dictionary, there's
That's
literally a photograph
I
of
remember
Jeffrey
like it was
Toobin's
a guy
next day
whacking it
back
on a
at
Zoom meeting.
CNN after he got caught cranking one out on a Zoom chat in front of like 30 people.
Wow.
Yeah, Jeffrey Toobin was playing a little tug of war, and you know, that was one war I believe he lost. I have a feeling he did not blow a load on that specific tug sesh. I have a feeling it was interrupted. Like when they all start screaming, "I'm Jeffrey, what are you doing? My children are here!" Oh my god.
Wow.
Imagine if that was on the internet. People were like scrolling, looking for porn and shit, and they come up on Jeffrey Toobin jerking off in a Zoom chat.
I know there's a
Josh
guy
G.
called
Ha ha ha, he definitely didn't get
What
the
is it
climatic
called,
ending he was expecting.
He didn't get the climactic ending. No, it was
Not-
climatic. I bet you it was climatic as fuck, bro. Just not
There's
the
a
one
guy
he,
called,
not the one he was expecting.
there's a guy called Darkside Phil who was on Twitch, and he also thought his cam was off, and he also whacked one off.
That's hilarious.
And after he was done, he looked at the cam and realized it's on and say, "Oh, you guys were there all the time."
Wow.
Yeah, Darkside Phil.
That's hilarious, man. It's happened more than once. Fucking Toobin went to the dark side, bro. He went Toobin to the dark side. Bro, Toobin to the dark side. We've made up a new term. He went Toobin to the dark side. Woo! Toobin down that river right to the
Josh
dark
G.
side.
Appropriately named Dark Side.
Dude, appropriately fucking got a goddamn 600-pound bear walking past our goddamn house. Dude, there is a
Damn.
pile of shit next to the house. It is fucking this big. Bear shit. I've never seen. It looked like an elephant
Josh G.
took a shit in the yard.
Dark Side Tubin.
I mean, it looked like, you know what? It was funny. I was with my girlfriend. It's like, this reminds me of that scene from Jurassic Park with the Brontosaurus fucking shit. Or the Triceratops shit. and there's this giant pile of shit. I was like, that's like what we're looking at right here. The dog Rogie was all trying to check it out. I was like, no, Rogan, no, for the love of God, Rogan, no.
Billy Valentine. How did you get that measurement? Did you pick it up like that?
Bro, I guarantee it's still there. That, you know, it ain't going nowhere for a long time. Would you like to see a photograph of it? I'll go out there and take a picture of it for you. I'm telling you, it's the size of a small Volkswagen bus. It is quite large. It is spacious in its way. It is girthy. And it is quite voluminous in its presence. Oh, and it's present. Oh, it's present. Okay. I haven't even gone to that side of the house in 2 days, bro. I'm just avoiding the entire that entire sector. I'm hoping some fucking hungry coyote
Billy
comes
Valentine.
by, you know?
If you dry bear shit and bring it up with vinegar, it would be fucking gross, so don't.
Oh my God. So funny, dude. It doesn't make sense. Look at this CNN exit poll. 43% have a favorable view of the Republican Party. 32% say inflation's the most important issue. 27 say
Billy
abortion.
Valentine.
That are people
Ha,
that
ha,
are
ha,
voting.
ha, ha, ha.
Remember how I told you that's the only issue for me is women's rights? You know, if you take care of women's rights, you're taking care of LGBTQ rights at the same time. It's so important, man, and people need to realize how important this is. You're also taking care of all this gerrymandering bullshit. Dude, we lost our audience. Where'd everybody go? I'm packing a ball here, man. What? I got to put the clean glass on camera so people know what's going on? Holy shit, dude. Everybody left. How we doing on the Rumbles, yo? How we looking on the Rumbles, yo? What's up? Why can't I see the Rumbles, yo? Oh, Rumbles, keeping it tight, yo. Nice and tidy. Look at that. What? Both
Josh G.
Look at this now.
Hashtag wake up people.
Look at that, people. 6 plus 9. What is that? 13, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. No, it's 15. Hey, I didn't know. Look at that. 15 people. Wow, 16 people watching now. I can add anything to 10. That's one I know. That's why I like a bigger clip when I'm playing video games, man.
Doc Holland
I can't
Daisy.
count. I don't know how many.
Just got off work, brother.
I look at the number
Good
of my
to
clip.
see
I'm
you.
like, how many is that? I don't know. Just give me one with a whole bunch of bullets in it. It's so much easier for me. Docky Holland Daisy. Just got off work. It's crazy. Good to see you not lazy, 'cause I tuned into the garden with Nazy. Docky Holland Daisy. Look, man, first polls close in 6 minutes and 34 seconds. Aren't you guys glad you're hanging out here to check out what's going on with the election stuff? Because it's like, you know, my cat's here being a little pain.
Enoch Emmanuel Torres. Yo, son.
Yo,
Doc
Enoch's
Holland
here.
Daisy.
What's up, buddy?
Big smile on my face.
Let's crank up this fan and turn it down now. Crank up this fan. It's got a little hum to the engine. It's weird. It's got like a tone to the fan. Feels good though.
Billy Valentine. I didn't for the first motherfucker. Josh G. Hey man, is this storm off the coast gonna impact you?
Dude, it's coming straight in, bro. It's coming straight for us. We're
A
fucking
new storm?
Yeah, dude, a new hurricane. We're battening down the hatches.
God
That-
damn.
dude, it's only there's only been 3 or 4 storms that have come in this late in the year in the history of tracking hurricanes ever. One of them was one of them was like in the 1800s.
Doc Holland Daisy. Here we go
And
again.
one of them was in like 2008 or 2018 or something like that. And now this is like
Josh
a very
G.
rare occurrence.
When is it supposed to hit?
Well, we got some bands of rain today already. They're pretty heavy. So we're going to get nothing but rain.
Enoch Emmanuel
Tomorrow's going to
Torres.
start. And then
Playing
the
some
next day,
MW2
it's
It
going to
Bro.
be,
I feel like these
it's
maps
gonna
could have
be
been
here.
put together better.
It's category 1 when it gets here. No law regarding cannabis. It's time to smoke. It's Newfoundland 420. What do you say, Cyber?
Unpacked.
Okay. Cheers, Cyber. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, bro. Cheers, everybody.
Hey, there's 20 people watching.
Doc Hollandaise. Not good for the food truck biz.
You would think it would be. People need food in an emergency situation. There's too much wind in here, dude. It feels good. Can't blow smoke rings. This is one of those commercials that when it comes on TV and my mom's watching, I was like, hey, Mom. She's like, what? I'm like, they're gay. And she's like, so? I'm like, I'm just saying, those dudes right there, they're totally gay. I've been doing that to her for like 3 months, 4 months now, just this ongoing fucking joke.
Billy Ballantyne. Yeah, hey, have you seen my grandma? The hurricane took her. No, but you owe me $7 for the taco, kid.
Food truck. I'm like, dude, who is this guy? Works at Disney. Dan. Yeah, Dan works at Disney. Disney Dan. They call him Disney Dan. He's Disney Dan, the flag man.
Disney Dan.
The flag man. The Disney Dan man. He's the Disney Dan man. He's the flag man. He's the flag man. The Disney Dan man. He's the Disney man. He's the flag man.
Doc Hollandaise. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. Oh man, I love this fucking commercial.
You should wear True Classic tees. They'll fit you perfectly. Whoa, these are so much better. Now I just gotta do something about this gut. I just heard about this company, True Classic Tees. Go on. Apparently, they fit you perfectly. These are incredible. Who told you about these? Saw them in an ad that we're doing right now.
I'm Lucy Kaplanov in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and this is CNN.
Ooh, she's covering election stuff. Election footage coverage.
Billy Ballantyne. That's Disney Dan. You'll never notice his subliminal, sexual innuendos.
That's for sure.
We're standing by now for the first votes this hour. I'm Jake Tapper with our team in the CNN Election Center, and we are nearing our first chance to make projections in the critical fight for control of Congress. At 7 p.m. Eastern, voting ends in Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia. Some polling places in Indiana and Kentucky are closing right now, and votes from those areas could start coming in at any moment. This is what it would take for Republicans
they're
to take
selling
back
it,
the House.
you
They
know.
need to win
You get that.
218 seats to win the majority.
Come
That's
on,
5
come
more seats than they have
on.
now. The battle will take place in 82 key House races, competitive contests that really could
What do
go
they
either
say?
way. In the closely divided Senate, Republicans need 51 seats to take back control. That's only one more seat than they already have. We're watching 13 key races that will be crucial to the fight for control of the U.S. Senate. We're also following the 36 governors contests across the country, including key races in a number of critical battlegrounds. Our election team is in position for a very busy night, including Dana Bash. Abby
Ladies are
Phillips,
having an
and Chris
eyelash
Paul. Over at
off,
the Magic Wall,
so you can have the
John
longer
King is standing
eyelashes.
by.
The one
He'll
on the
track
left is
the
winning,
results and give us
and that's
perspective on the
and that's
voting
Dana
that has
Bash.
not yet
You know,
been reported.
Dana Bashful
Raytheon's
Bash.
following all 35 Senate
I call her
contests, including
Blanky.
crucial key races.
So crazy,
As we
huh?
get closer to the first
And that
result.
woman's got
And
like
Laura
normal length
Sanchez is
eyelashes.
watching those
She's totally
36
not in the
governors
competition.
contests across the United States. David Chalian will soon share more exit poll information as polling places close. And Brianna Keeler is at our voting desk.
Stay Puft
keeping us
Marshmallow
up to date on
tubing.
how and when the ballots are counted in each state. Our election team
It's the
is
Stay
fanned
Puft
out
Marshmallow
across the
tubing.
United States, including at the headquarters of the top candidates. Right now, let's go to 2 of the top battlegrounds in the fight for the Senate.
Oh,
Kate
someone
Baldwin
doesn't
of
have her makeup
Pennsylvania,
person
the
with her.
headquarters of Republican Senate candidate Dr. Mehmet Oz. And Kate, what are you hearing
Okay.
there in town from
Kate, you don't have your
Oz's
magic
campaign
cream
headquarters about
today?
their expectations for the night?
What's wrong, Kate?
Well,
Kate's
I'll
rough
tell you,
today,
President Obama's
folks.
Campaign, they are describing
Kate's
it as
rough today,
feeling
folks.
A continued sense
Let's
of
go full screen with
confidence,
Kate.
if you will. That's how they're describing
You're
it to me
welcome.
as they wait for votes to be counted here in
Wow,
Pennsylvania. And from another
Kate.
source, a
You
Republican
need your
close to the
magic
campaign
cream,
describing
girl.
the feeling
Look
as
at the
cautiously
bags under your
optimistic, but
eyes.
still nervous,
You
saying
should
that they
never
feel
have those
good
kids,
that they
Kate.
really
I
left it
warned
on the
you.
field.
Don't
The
do it,
campaign
Kate. You're going to
believes
ruin
that they
yourself.
closed
Up all
out
night
this
chasing them little
race
kids
on a
around.
high
Look what
note,
it's done to you.
pointing to the
Oh,
big crowd that they
someone's
saw in the
going to be
Philadelphia
getting some
suburbs last
freaking
night
some
with the final
work
rally
done.
that Mehmet Oz held. We were there. We
Someone's
saw
going to be getting
it. And
some
they also
work
believe
done.
that in the end, the campaign is
Dude.
pointing to at this point, Jake, that they believe that they have gotten into the good position that they believe that they are in because of
I wonder how
one
old
factor
she is, man.
specifically. The contrast
She's
that they
got to
drew
be like
in
in
their
her
message.
early
The
40s, right?
contrast of balance, bringing balance to Washington, and contrasting that, as Mehmet Oz describes it over and over again, as extremism on both sides. That is what the campaign says they feel good about. And the source telling CNN they believe the message really resonated with voters and that they've defined Fetterman
You know,
in a way
why
that
would
stuck
she be
with voters.
there
We'll see tonight.
instead of
All right,
in
Kate
the
Baldwin
goddamn
at Oz
where he
headquarters in
is?
Newtown, Pennsylvania. Let's go to another important race in Georgia.
It seems like she's
Eva
being
McKenna is at the
punished for
headquarters of
something.
Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock. He is
She's
running
an
for
anchor
re-election
behind.
in a
She's
very,
always behind a desk.
very tough fight. What's the mood there among the Warnock campaign folks?
Does anybody know what that's all about?
Well, Jake, Georgia Democrats will tell you they always knew that this race was going to be incredibly close. What we have seen, though, is Republican newcomer, former NFL star Herschel Walker, really mount an aggressive challenge. And Warnock is trying to stave off that challenge. Notably, he has been confident in the last
Marilyn
several
Whitkind
weeks, but
Snyder.
Warnock has been telling his supporters, look,
Hi, Yanae.
we
I
do
hope
not
you
want
enjoy
this to
your
go
evening.
into overtime. He has
Thank you,
asked
Marilyn. I hope you
states,
enjoy yours as
saying
well.
just that.
It's very
Democrats
nice of you to
will come
say.
out and vote to avoid a December runoff. If neither Walker or Warnock get above 50%,
Tony
then
Zanni.
this goes for another several weeks. That is
She's
something
about
that they are
5
trying
minutes
to
away
avoid.
from my
you
house.
don't hear Walker
In
talking
Atlanta,
about a
Georgia?
potential runoff as much. But Warnock is. I asked him about this. Why is this a concern?
Go over
He
there
said,
and say,
Marilyn
Trendy
Whitkind
as
Snyder.
Dabbers on
He
YouTube.
Thank
is
you.
prepared to win tonight.
And everyone will type it in and
but
nothing
that
will
this-
come
he's
up.
also prepared for this possibility as well. You know, his potential success in this state
Because it's
really,
Nay's
I
garden
think,
now, actually.
underscores the challenge or that Georgia Democrats face. Really, it is a test. His potential success is a test to see if Georgia Democrats can pull out a victory, even though that this is a difficult midterm round for Democrats across the country. If Warnock wins here, it will illustrate that the way that he has run his
Illustrate.
campaign, really focusing on his bipartisan credentials, can work in a state that is so competitive like this one, Jake.
All right, Eva McKenna in Atlanta at the headquarters of Senator Raphael Warnock. We have another snapshot for you now on what is on the minds of voters. Let's go back to David Chalian, who has exit polls. David.
Jake, we are looking at these preliminary exit
Stay
polls. I
Puft.
just wanna
It's
make
the Stay
sure
Puft
everyone,
Marshmallow Tubin.
understands some of these numbers will change
He's
throughout
like-
the evening. Also, this
He's
exit
even like
poll
going,
does those who voted
we should
before
play him in
Election
slow
Day,
motion
in
like that.
absentee by mail vote or early in-person vote, as well as Election Day voters. We wanted to take a look at how confident people feel about their votes being fairly and accurately counted in this election. Obviously, a big conversation. Very confident, 50% of voters nationwide in this midterm election, very confident that their state elections are fair and accurate. 30% somewhat confident. So 8 and 10 have a level of confidence. 13% not very confident. 6% not at all confident. We also wanted to ask the straight up question, do you believe Joe Biden was legitimately elected president back in 2020? You see the results here. 63% of voters across the country, yes, believe Joe Biden was indeed legitimately elected. But a third of voters in this election do not believe that Joe Biden was the legitimately elected president in 2020, which brings in this concern about democracy. Do you think that democracy in the United States is secure or threatened? 9% say it's very secure. 19% voters nationwide, somewhat secure.
Hey.
33% somewhat
Good,
threatened.
man. How's it
And the
going?
plurality, 37% of voters today believe that U.S. democracy is very threatened, Jake.
David Chalian, thanks so much. That is a shocking number, Dana Bash. 1/3 of the American people think that Joe Biden did not legitimately win the presidency in 2022. He did, of course, win legitimately the presidency
It's coming.
in
It's gonna be
2020.
here in
I
2
mean, it's
days.
almost as if
There's
1/3 of the
another hurricane.
country believes that the moon landing was fake.
It's soul
It's
crushing.
snowing there?
It is. Not because of who we're talking about, but because of what we're talking about. We're talking about truth and facts and reality. And this is just
Have you already
the
gotten some
latest
snow,
piece of
or-
evidence that the former president has been able to convince most of his supporters that it's not true, that he did not lose the election.
Well, you know, I mean, I think the other
Wow. It's Mark, everybody. I'm on my show. No, it's all right. It's fine, bro. We're watching election coverage, and we don't care what they're saying. Yeah, it hasn't even really started yet. Yes, I did vote here in Florida. Yes. Yeah, we've got this guy Ron DeSantis and Marco Rubio here. I don't like either of those guys, so I voted against those two dudes. Yeah, they're like evil. That Ron DeSantis guy, he might be the next president of the United States. Yeah, remember that name, Ron DeSantis. Yeah, president. He's probably like about 45, 50 years old. He's the governor of Florida. He's the governor of Florida right now. He's looking to get reelected. It looks like he's going to win. Yeah, I know. That's what they're all saying, bro. Your 1/3 of voters said what you just said. Have no confidence in President
Doc
Biden.
Holland Daisy. Fuck that name.
Gas prices aren't that bad here. Yeah. Yeah, they're terrible up there, huh? Oh, you know what, bro? I wanted you to pull my Jeep out because I'm going to ship that fucker back here. I'm going to get a truck to pick that up. Cool, man. Cool.
Cheers.
I'll just go by
Cheers. Hey, Ice.
I'll just go by your schedule, bro. I'm not in a hurry, so just let me know when you want to do it, which is cool. I'm not in that much of a hurry.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's all replacement shit. Yeah, everything's on that Jeep probably there's like a battery charger probably in the center console. There might be a few things in there. Yeah. Yeah, I probably will come back actually at some point for at least 2 weeks. No, bro. If you saw this house, you'd be like, yeah, okay. yeah. He's doing, bro. Today's a really good day, man. I mentioned my cousin's name is Mark, right? So I said to my father tonight, because he never says anything, and I said, "Hey, Dad, Mark says hello," and my dad's like, "Yeah," which was cool. My mom heard him, which is great, man. You know, because that's not that often that he'll say something, you know. Right, man. Sure, yeah, I know. That's wow, man. What?
I'm back.
Wow.
And I'll
Billy Valentine. This is operator 342. Please insert another quarter.
Yeah, let me tell you what that is. There's that thing, it looks like a brain. It's sitting in the windowsill. Oh, that one's the one making that noise? No. That's no. That's the camera. It's the camera. It's the little black camera. Yeah, they talk.
Keith.
They all talk. Oh
In
my
and Vero
god.
Beach storm
Oh my
heading
god,
right
where's
toward
my
me,
mom?
LOL.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is so funny. Hold on a second. My mom.
What?
Do you know how Mark says he's hearing voices all around the house?
Yes.
Women's voices.
Yes.
He can't figure it out. It's driving him freaking crazy. Mark, check this out. All of my cameras, my security cameras, have different women's voices that say warming up. It'll say booting up. It'll say like network connected. It'll say all those, and you'll hear women like outside the house. Those are all the cameras.
That's what it is.
You're not going crazy, bro.
Oh, honey, poor thing.
You're not going crazy. Hold on 1 second, bro. Okay. Hold on. Hey, you there? Yeah, I'm on my show, and I'm talking to Mark in my house in California right now. Okay, bye. Hey, you there? All right, cool. So, you're not losing your mind, bro. It's so funny. I was like, I know that every once in a while you'll hear, and then you know when that'll really happen is if the power goes out and comes back on. and all those cameras reset. And then you'll hear those women's voices, you know. That's funny, bro. It'll say Fozcam. It'll say Fozcam, not podcast. It's saying Fozcam. It's Fozcam. Fozcam. That's so funny. And they're all different kinds too. There's 3 or 4 different kinds of cameras around the home, and they all have voices. They all freaking talk. Yeah, man, I know. Man, I am so glad I figured that out for you. And they like turn on, and then the one of them like looks around and adjusts and shit, and makes like little. The one on the back of the house does that too. They move. They go like through a whole thing. The black ones do it too. When they turn back on, they all rotate, and they look up and down, and they look all around. Then they lock in at center, whatever center is. They center. Yeah. So. Nope.
Keith,
Okay,
are they
brother.
wireless cameras? I used to hack them and talk to people in their house.
No, they're not wireless cameras. I will talk to you later, brother. Yeah, they are wireless, actually. Take care, bye. Yeah, they are wireless, come to think of it. Whoa, the rain coming down is crazy. Oh my God. It's really raining. It's awesome. We've been live for an hour.
Chuck D. Your mom's reaction is priceless.
Chuckles. Chuckles. Chuckles.
Doc Hollandaisy. Just stopped raining here. Chuck D.
You guys want to hear it?
Cheers to the rain. We are getting dumped on California right meow.
Oh, Chuck D is not Chuckles. It's another Chuckle. It's another Chuck D. Chuck Diesel.
Keith. I'm in Vero Beach. Gonna get direct hit.
You guys hear the rain? Probably, you know. So the camera's probably, the mic's probably cutting off the rain, but it sounds really nice out there, man. It's just totally coming down hard right now. And I'm loving it because the plants out there that are in the ground, I put these seeds in the ground, they really need it. Just a whole bunch of water to come down, but then we're going to have a hurricane. So that's not going to be fun. I don't know if it's going to be a... Yeah? Pennsylvania county judge orders polls open until 10 p.m. What else is going on? Shall we
Keith.
look?
I just had to put a 80 feet 6-inch pipe across my yard. Hurricane last month flooded my house. Keith.
Must be nice to have a man.
We will see if it worked tomorrow.
That sucks, Keith. Oh shit. Look at the Republican fucking in there right there's fucking already kicking ass, dude. Oh man, here comes the pain. Look at that. 65% in Republican. Look at it, 68% Republican. You guys seeing this? Oh shit, dude. It is a red wave so far. This is Indiana. Oh my god. Young McDermott, 61-35. Man. You guys. It's not looking good, bro. Look, and you know, the Republicans really came out for early voting this year. So they haven't even begun to count that pain. But look at the freaking ballot, the live
Keith,
balloting coming in. Oh my
You
god.
still in crypto?
Hodley! Yeah. I'm in crypto, man. It all crashed today, didn't it? It went lowest it's ever gone, man. And I missed it. I missed it, man. I could have bought me a little bit of crypto, but I missed it. I mean, I still could. It's still, Bitcoin's really nice and low. What is it? 18.5 right now. 18.5 is good, man. But, 17.5 is amazing. I should buy like a little bit, right now. I don't know. Maybe use a credit card to try to buy something. Oh, is this cheap? No. I mean, it's an opportunity, man. Right now is a good opportunity. What am I looking at? Oh yeah, I know what I'm looking at. Looking at this stupid shit, dude. Psst. Don't ask. Stupid shit, dude.
Keith. Sheesh, at 18. I have not looked in months.
God, America. Chuckles. Chuckles, you know what's crazy?
Hey, Chuckles.
What's up?
Chuckles, you know what's crazy?
What's that?
There's someone in the chat named Chuck D right now, and I was just asking if they were you.
Who?
There's someone in my chat in my live stream, and their name is Chuck D. And when they came in, I was like, Chuckles. And they were like, yeah, dude, it's California, blah, blah, blah.
Change your name, bitch.
I was like, you're not California. I was like, Chuckles. I was like, you're not who I thought you were.
Change your name, you fucking imposter.
Chuck Diesel's here, son. What? Unreal. Yes, that's right.
Oh,
Chuck
somebody
D.
stealing my damn name.
Lol.
Dude, I'm looking really good, actually, bro. I could get me a little bit of fucking Bitcoin right now. It's at 18,488. Ugh, it's a good time to buy Bitcoin, bro.
Yeah,
right
that might be
now.
one of my friends trolling me.
Right now is a great time to buy Bitcoin. If you can remember how to do it on this fucking app. Right now is a great time to buy Bitcoin.
Tyler Sullivan. Sup, Nay, cheers.
Yo, sup. For $18. All right, so I got it. I got me a little bit. So this is what's up. I got it at 18,430. Right there, right where it is. That's right where I got it at 18,430. told you 18.4 was where I got it last time. It was like right at 18,400. If it goes down to 17.5, oh my God, I'll get even more. I have to feed this cat. There it goes, 18,420, 18,419. $427. What's it gonna do, guys? Gonna keep going down? It's gonna drop. What do you guys think? 420. Great time to acquire. Do you know that people see the drop and they sell it? They panic, and they sell their crypto. All I want to do is see that bitch go back down to 17.5 again so I can get more. You know? So at some point, I want to have more Bitcoin outside of Celsius than I have sitting inside of it. And I think I'm almost there. The thing was while it was sitting in there, it was making extra Bitcoin as in interest. They were paying me in Bitcoin, so it was going up. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. So, it looks like it's going to be a red wave. It's going to be bad, really bad 2 years. The next 2 years are going to be really bad.
Josh G.
Then Ron DeSantis is going to run for president.
We smoking up in here. Cheers.
No law regarding cannabis, Josh. I really need to smoke. Hey, Chuckles, Cyber, Iceman.
Unpacked.
No.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no law regarding cannabis. Cheers, guys. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Ice is sitting back there like, yo, what happened to No Man Left Behind, bitch?
Josh G. Ah, the sweet sound of unanimous chugging.
Chug-a-lugging. Gurgle, gurgle. Gurgle, gurgle. Bubble, bubble. Look at that. Oh, my God. Indiana, 71%, guys. 1% of the voting in, but look at that surge of red. It's just a red wave. Look at this, guys. 3%. Indiana.
Hot photos of my sister.
You know?
Hot photos of my sister. Hot photos of my sister. NW Ding Online. NW Ding Online.
Jesus Christ. It's a massive red wave. across the fucking country. Here's there keep showing
Big Merc 83.
Indiana Senate.
Nice.
If I don't feed this cat, dude, I have to feed this cat. Cat, do you have food? Do you want to go outside? Oh, I can't open the window. Can I? Mom's gonna be pissed. I can't open the window. It's early. I can open the window. What am I saying? Cat goes right to the window. I love it. Cat's chilling in the window. Trying to figure out what he's going to do. He's smelling the window. Hey, look, it's the Stay Puft Marshmallow. The Stay Puft Marshmallow tubing. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow tubing. You guys, do you guys not think that my observation that he's the Stay Puft Marshmallow tubing is hilarious? Let me know. There goes the cat. Goodbye, cat. My plan succeeded. The cat is outside. Favorable, unfavorable. Look at that view of Donald Trump, 40% favorable. Did you see that? It was like 50% favorable. I think it's unfavorable.
Josh G.
Opposed Biden 32%.
If it is a red wave, does that basically seal the deal for the presidency also being red?
Most likely, bro. They got 2 years, man. They got 2 years. Oh, it's a fucking mess, bro. It's a goddamn mess. These motherfuckers, these Republicans are fucking clowns, man. This is one of them right here. This is one of those fucking cunt clown motherfuckers. There's another one right there. They're fucking cunt clown bitch motherfuckers, dude. You want to listen to what he's got to say?
In the primary here, and both the governor's race and the Senate race, and created a great amount of discord amongst all these different candidates. And so there are a lot of people going to the polls tonight voting for a Republican that's not their candidate, and they may be doing so thinking that Trump.
Elizabeth, Florida, fish rescue.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi. Or Dave McCormick or whomever, and that may be weighing in on this number.
Yeah, one of those candidates is Doug Mastriano, who's really emblematic of the most extreme elements of the Republican Party. Trump dropped from -5 to -18 in terms of differential between positive, favorable, and unfavorable. But you can see here why Dr. Oz was so cross-pressured at the end when
hey man,
Trump
look at
decided
Indiana
he was
House
going to
5,
rally in
56-43.
Western For most of the
6% of the vote in.
Dr. Oz has been trying to erase
Indiana
Trump
House
from the whole
9,
discussion.
3%
Nick
of the
Brown.
vote in.
Pitch himself as a
Yo,
modern.
Nick.
Good
As you
evening.
know,
What's
the
up, buddy?
Philadelphia suburbs are pivotal in these races.
Philadelphia suburbs, and that poll earlier, we saw those exit numbers. A third are independents, or a third of the folks showing up are independents. Those independents probably they're not so aligned with Donald Trump, needless to say.
Can I just say, usually when a politician is out of office for a bit, your favorables go up.
That's right.
Because people aren't hearing from you all the time, and they're not as sick of you as they were before you left office or got defeated. This is just the opposite. Donald Trump has been out of office, and people like him less in the state of Pennsylvania. And to David's point, that's why the Oz people were not thrilled.
But don't underestimate. I'm telling you, I was there on the ground. This inter-party scrum and the primary really bruised up the crowd. You go back and look on social media. People said, "I'm done with Trump. I've had it with it." These are Republican county leaders in the party. So
Kentucky
This is why
Senate.
this race looked so far apart over the summer. I mean, coming out of that primary, I mean, Oz had horrific image issues, and they were really
72%.
persistent throughout. I'm not sure he ever got right side up.
Indiana House
where
3,
his faves were higher, There's
65%.
unfaves, and you throw Donald Trump being at 40 versus Biden at 46 on top of that, and so if I'm in a Democratic position looking at this, it gives me a some belief that maybe things are better. Again,
I'm
we don't
Wolf
know yet.
Blitzer with
Votes haven't been
another
cast.
with a
Certainly haven't been
CNN
counted
with
yet,
our first
but,
prediction of the night.
I've
And
always
in
thought
the
of
state of
Pennsylvania,
Indiana,
Georgia,
we
Nevada.
have
Pennsylvania
Republican
is one I was
winning
most
watch
unsure
within
about
like 10
in terms
minutes.
of would
They're
the
going to
macro
call the first
political
one.
wins be enough, and we'll see what happens.
Well, and on that point, I think Pennsylvania is
3% of the
going to be a
vote
race
in.
that is hyper local and a state driven race. And I think if any of the contests is the one we're
2%
probably
of the
most
vote in.
likely to see a split ticket. I think we all are pretty confident Shapiro is going to win the governor's race. But this is something where you could see an Oz Republican win on the Senate race, because I'm not sure it's totally a referendum on Biden nor Trump. I think it's frankly the issues the voters care about.
And honestly, I was concerned that the Biden numbers would be worse than they are for the people who went to vote. This is actually, Biden is not more of a disaster for us than Trump. And a lot of people, frankly, they're voting for their pocketbooks. They're concerned about democracy. They're voting for abortion. They're voting for other issues. And so the idea that, and that may be one reason why we weren't afraid to have
Rand
Biden
Paul
come
with
to the Senate.
And I would say the
68.6%
three other
right
races
now.
that are going to drive this. So we talked about John King has
7,
PA 7, PA 8, PA 17, right? Those are very competitive House
3%
races.
of the vote in,
And that,
65%.
those are localized. So
Indiana
people are
House 3.
gonna- they're voting there. They're voting for their person there. And that's going to kind of trickle up on the ballot as well. So
I don't think we can underestimate the Josh Shapiro factor here. Very, very popular Democrat. And that's why, you see folks saying, well, Trump really wasn't a factor here. Biden wasn't a factor here. I mean, you're voting for your governor, don't forget. You're voting for
Tony
somebody
Zanni.
you're talking about your local taxes.
I'm in PA
your
and
everything
everybody's
else that
out
has
of their
to do with
mind,
your
don't know
family,
what's in the
schools,
water, but
whatever.
I am drinking bottles.
And I think Josh Shapiro you're right. I mean, by all accounts, he's going to win and win handily. And, this is why Oz needed to walk this really fine
And I
line.
think part of why Fetterman, had to make that drastic 180 on fracking is Pennsylvania, the second largest energy producing state, because it is a hyper state driven race. And he's not running on a national platform. He is running for the state of Pennsylvania.
Several races where governors have maybe an outsized impact on the
40%
Senate
of
race.
Pennsylvania
Arizona,
voters have a
obviously,
favorable
Carrie Lake may
view of Donald
drag
Trump.
Masters a little bit. Brian Kemp in Georgia may drag up Herschel Walker a little bit. In Pennsylvania, Shapiro, if he does quite well, you can see him dragging up.
but remember, in Pennsylvania, you
And they'll
don't
have
go
a
into
more
court straight
favorable
lever
view
anymore,
of
right?
him.
You
More
gotta go
people will if he
line by
runs
line.
for
They
president.
changed that with Act 77. And so in the Biden year, right, Biden wins, you elect 2 statewide
They'll just
Republicans
never learn,
in
man.
the same year. So
I would just say on the approval rating,
we're gonna be
Josh
it
G.
is- every candidate has
That's
to try
quite
and,
surprising.
deal with the president's approval rating. 46 is pretty good. Yeah, there's not much of a gap there. You don't have to make up too much of a gap there. There are some states where candidates are dealing with Biden's approval rating at 40 or below.
Right.
That's a lot of distance to make up.
Well, he's from there.
The number to me has always been 45. If you've got the incumbent president at 45, you can see somebody outrunning it by 4 or 5, but you get down below into 44, 43, 42, it's a long jump. So I want to see.
You think this race could? I mean, in Pennsylvania for Senate, it could go either way.
yeah, look, even when I was Arlo Specter's chief of staff, who was an incumbent senator for years and years and years, every night on election night, you bite your nails, right? Because as a Republican, you're pushing a big rock up a hill in Pennsylvania every election cycle.
We're nearing the top of the hour. Our first chance to make projections when voting ends in
Hey, he's at top of the hour.
In the critical Georgia Senate race are coming soon, all after the break.
That's awesome, dude. Watch the election coverage, bear.
My name is Mañana, and I'm.
And I'll take care of the commercials for you. Check me out, bruh. You don't have to watch the commercials, bruh. You can see them in the reflection of my window. That's crazy.
Josh G. White Fox Cooper gotta be front and center LOL.
White Fox, Anderson Cooper. You call him White Fox. It's his show, probably, you know.
Tony Zanni. They had to bring in Obama and Joe Biden last weekend to try to get Shapiro and Fetterman elected.
Yeah, Tony. The biggest, names they could. President and former president, yeah. And, well, Oz is using Trump, so. Hi, I'm a silly guy. I talk about silly things.
Josh G.
That's what I do. I'm a
I
silly
keep
man.
thinking we're talking about
My
Ben
name's
Shapiro.
Chris
Thank
Wallace.
God we're not.
I'm a silly man. Watch my silly show. I'm Chris Wallace. It's raining outside. I'm reporting in. That's the sound of rain. I'm Chris Wallace, and that's the sound of rain. There's a commercial break in progress. Thanks for watching my show. This rain is awesome. Oh my God. It is for now, though. It's going to be not so awesome. It's going to be not so awesome, like, and it doesn't stop for fucking 2 days straight. But I went outside and cleaned up all the driveway and shit. Made it all nice right before it started raining. I cleaned everything off, so we'll see how much shit gets knocked out of the trees. Hopefully a tree doesn't fall over. We don't want that to happen. Dude, it's a red wave across the fucking goddamn United States. It's a red wave, man. People hate fucking Joe Biden. Oh, dude.
Josh G. I'm Chris Wallace here with tonight's news. And yes, I am Chris Wallace here tonight with the news.
I'm Chris Wallace here tonight with the news.
We're just minutes away now from the first major round of poll closings on this election night in America, with huge consequences for the nation. At 7 p.m. Eastern, polling places close in Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia. And we will get our first hints at how the battle for control of Congress may unfold in the hours ahead. Both parties battling for the 218 seats needed to win the majority in the House of Representatives. A total of 65 House seats are on the line in states where polls are closing at the top of the hour. 9 of them are considered competitive,
Top of the hour.
including 4 in Florida, where voting is about to end in most districts across the state.
I voted.
Not all. In the fight for the Senate, the Georgia race could be a decider. Incumbent Democrat and pastor Raphael Warnock faces Republican former football star Herschel Walker. Walker has held on to the support of top Republicans despite multiple controversies. Warnock is aiming to repeat his special election win 2 years ago that was key to flipping the Senate to Democratic control. To the governors now. We're watching an epic rematch in Georgia. Democrat Stacey Abrams challenging Republican Governor Brian Kemp, who narrowly beat her 4 years ago. We're very close to our first chance to make projections. Right now, let's check in with our correspondents in Georgia. First to Eva McKen at the headquarters of Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock. And Eva, as we wait the first results from Georgia, what are you hearing from the Warnock campaign headquarters?
Well, Jake, they're feeling confident.
Harley's
They're
all
saying
wet.
that, really they did all that they
Josh
could.
G.
They campaigned everywhere.
Shall we
Senator
start spamming
Warnock,
hashtag
they say,
Stop the
has
Steal?
spent his 2 years thinking about all Georgians in suburban areas and rural areas and metro centers.
Cat's
and
wet.
they say it is because he has run this type of campaign as a bridge builder. He thinks he can win here. Still, though, Senator Warnock dealing with a really aggressive challenge from the former NFL star Herschel Walker. The Warnock campaign says that is something that they always anticipated in a state like this one, that the race would always be close. But still, you can tell in the last few weeks that the momentum sort of shift on the ground with conservatives consolidating around Herschel Walker. Still a lot of confidence here from Senator Warnock's team, thinking that they can potentially avoid a runoff, but that is a real possibility. If neither Warnock or Walker get above 50%, that is going to extend this race into overtime and lead to a potential runoff on December the 6th, Jake.
All right, Eva, let's
There's
go
the cat.
to Herschel Walker's campaign headquarters, where Jeff Zeleny is standing by. And Jeff, how does the Walker campaign headquarters, how do they think that the many controversies about Herschel Walker, especially about his personal life, how do they think that played a role, especially in the closing days of that campaign, if at all?
Well, Jake, it definitely did. And you'll think back just to several weeks and even months ago when Republicans here in Georgia and in Washington were just in a state of panic about the allegations that were indeed coming out about Herschel Walker. But then Republicans did one thing. They circled the wagons around him. They dispatched many senators who were campaigning at his side, and they effectively took a page from the Trump playbook. And they did not apologize, and they pushed forward. It was a page from the Trump playbook without the former president himself. In the final days of this race, as Donald Trump campaigned across the country, traveling from state to state to state, he did not come to Georgia. And that was by design, I'm told. I'm told that the former president was in frequent conversation with Herschel Walker. Of course, he's the one who recruited him to run in this Georgia Senate race in the first place, over the objection of many Washington Republicans, including Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell. But it was former President Donald Trump who urged Herschel Walker to run. And I am told that they have spoken all the time on the telephone. Last evening, they spoke a few times, I'm told. Today, they also spoke. So very interesting, taking a page out of that playbook, but leaving him out of this. So that allowed the Walker campaign to do one thing, to make this race about President Biden and to tie Senator Raphael Warnock to President Biden. Jake, I'm just struck here, either driving down the freeways, watching television, looking at mailers that voters received. There was a side-by-side picture of Senator Warnock and President Biden everywhere you went, effectively trying to tie the two together. What that allowed them not to do was to link Herschel Walker with Donald Trump. So as the votes are counted here at the top of the hour, the polls will close across the state of Georgia, with the exception of a few polls that are staying open a bit longer because of some minor complications. It'll be fascinating to see which strategy actually worked. But one thing is clear, that Herschel Walker was not disqualified as this campaign came to a close. Jake?
All right, Jeff Zeleny at Herschel Walker's campaign headquarters in Atlanta. David Chalian now has some early exit poll data from Georgia. David, what are you looking at?
Yeah, along these lines, Jake, we're taking a look about sort of what was on Georgia voters' minds in this election when it comes to the
Josh
qualities
G.
they were looking for in their
So
candidates.
Trump
And I
tried to
think
be a
it's pretty
sneaky
clear
endorser.
It's sort of a character election that is taking place there. 36% of Georgia voters are looking for a candidate who shares their values. 32% looking for a candidate that has honesty and integrity. Less so about empathy and experience. 19% say, I'm looking for someone who cares about people like me. And only 8% are looking for the candidate with the right experience, which may be good news for Herschel Walker since he is new to politics. Who shows good judgment? We asked that of Georgia voters. 46% say only Warnock shows good judgment. Far fewer say only Herschel Walker. 28% shows good judgment. Both 5%, 18% of voters in this Georgia election say neither candidate shows good judgment. Are Warnock's views too extreme? And this has been something that Walker has been hammering away at on the campaign trail. Look at this. The voters in Georgia are evenly split on this. 48% of Georgia voters say yes, Warnock's views are too extreme. 47% say no. Herschel Walker scores a bit better on this front. Are Herschel Walker's views too extreme? Well, 43% of Georgia voters say yes, but a slim majority, 52%, Dana, say Herschel Walker's views are not too extreme for them.
So interesting. David, thank you so much. And let's talk about the Georgia Senate race and some of the exit polls that David was just talking about. Specifically, one of the things that really stuck out to me was which candidate shows good judgment. Only 28% say Walker, Warnock 46%. Maybe given everything that we've seen about the allegations about Herschel Walker, not that surprising. But even given this, it's not expected to be the determining factor as to whether or not Herschel Walker will win or lose.
Not at all. I mean, Herschel Walker's unfavorables and the image that voters have of him are pretty negative, especially after all of this. But this is just an environment in which Republicans are more likely to do well. The environment favors Republicans. But as we were saying earlier in the show, when you have a state like Georgia that is already purple to begin with, and then on top of that, you have an environment that is favorable. And on top of that, you have a top of the ticket race that where the Republican might be doing way better than Herschel Walker.
Kentucky's 15% in.
That, I think, is a recipe for Walker
67%
to get a little bit of
for
a
the
pass,
Democrat.
Surviving, perhaps.
I mean, it is amazing that he's getting any kind of a pass at all. I mean, these allegations that a pro-life candidate paid for 2 women to have abortions, that he fathered a number of children that he didn't support, that he threatened his wife, that he had mental illness. I mean, these would sink any other candidate. Herschel Walker's got 2 things going for him. One, he is an idol in the state of Georgia. He's a Heisman Trophy winner from the University of Georgia. And by the way, Georgia is the #1 team in the nation. They just crushed Tennessee on Saturday. And 2, to a certain degree, it's all about teams. And the fact is that I think a lot of people may hold their nose about Herschel Walker,
74%.
but they'd rather see
Chris,
Mitch
I agree
McConnell. Let me just finish. Mitchell McConnell as a Senate Majority Leader than Chuck Schumer.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I agree about your second point about teams. This is all about teams. Maybe not so much about the first, that only somebody like Herschel Walker could survive this, because Herschel Walker, yes, I agree, he's a very famous person, and that's part of it. But he is following the Donald Trump playbook on how to deal with the scandal to a T, trying to use it to his in his favor, and to say, look what they're doing to me.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I think that says a lot about where we are as a country. I do think, not to bring Trump into this, but he has a lot to do with this. He changed the way voters interpret scandals and whether or not they should matter to them. I mean, you may not like it, but that is the reality that we are seeing
Herschel
in
Walker
Georgia.
wouldn't even have been the nominee, wouldn't have gotten the Trump endorsement if he weren't a celebrity. His
That's
whole
true.
campaign,
Wallace,
of
course.
is
I'm
about
gonna tell you.
celebrity, and he is
I
an
am.
icon in the state of Georgia.
I'm here telling you what I feel. This is how I
Actually,
feel.
pretty new icons. The governor, Governor Kemp. This has been one of the most fascinating dynamics to watch, because the last time he won, it was a very, very tight race.
50,000 votes.
Between he and Stacey Abrams. It is a rematch. And he is just seen in such a different light because of Donald Trump, because he positioned himself sort of as a barricade between Donald Trump and the actual votes that happened. Plus, people are kind of okay with his stewardship as governor.
Yeah, I think it's more the second than the first. I think that people generally feel that he opened up the state, he didn't stay in lockdown as long, and that Georgia didn't have a big spike in COVID. And in fact, the economy wasn't as hit as hard as a lot of other states were.
I think the question a lot of people had been coming into tonight asking is, what are we going to see in terms of splitting tickets?
Josh G.
Are we going to see people skipping one
You
race
hear about or
and
see this
voting in
blood
another?
moon, everyone
That's
is
a huge
talking.
question tonight, but it's particularly important for Herschel Walker and whether or not he can actually get to a 50% mark to avoid a runoff. If he can't, then we're just doing it all over again, and then the dynamics totally change. So I think both campaigns at this moment, they believe this race is just as tight as can be, and both sides are just trying to keep it alive a little bit more.
We should just introduce America to the name Chase Oliver. He's a libertarian, a former Democrat, and he could be the person who keeps either of these guys from getting to 50%. And then you can blame him when we keep following the Warnock race against Walker until December 6th.
Jake and John, let's go over to
You
you.
can
at the
blame
wall.
him.
Thanks so much, Dana. And right now we have votes coming in. It's exciting. Votes are actually coming in. What are we seeing, John?
Well, we're seeing number one, a lesson early in the night.
The magic wall with John.
Democrat, Republican,
Okay.
cheer your party on, but be careful as you look. I say that because of this. These are the 2 Senate races on the map where we have votes so far. And in Kentucky, at the moment, the Democratic candidate, Charles Booker, is 4,881 votes ahead of the Republican incumbent, Rand Paul. We'll watch this throughout the night. Sometimes we do get surprised, but Mr. Booker is not expected to beat the Republican incumbent. The reason he's ahead is that the early votes are coming in from Jefferson County, which is Louisville, which is the #1 county, the most populous county in the state.
He is expected to win that county, and right?
Correct. Yes, that is a Democratic county. That is the most Democratic county in the state. So you get the early votes, and we're going to see this throughout the night in other states as well. Some of that's Democratic county reporting first here. Some places it'll be mail votes first or election day votes first. We'll just watch it. And then you have up here just the Indiana Republican Senator Todd Young out to a very early lead. It's 4% of the vote, but he is heavily favored in this race. It's not that these races don't matter, because one of the things you're looking for if you're in the Democrat or the Republican headquarters is, are there any surprises? Are you going to get any disruptions in the force, if you will? And so if you're in a 50-50 Senate, you're just trying to make sure you keep your own if you're the Republicans. Both of these races at the end of the night, we anticipate will be that way, but we'll keep an eye when you see votes come in like this. You always watch and see. And so what happens at the top of the hour is when things get interesting. If you're a partisan watching at home, this is when it starts to get more tense.
The actual competitive race.
Right. We start to get actual votes in the Senate race here. Herschel Walker, Raphael Warnock. So what are you looking at here? Number one, we'll watch how the votes come in and how they're counted. Georgia tends to count pretty quickly. They do a very good job, as we learned in 2020. This, obviously, Fulton County is the most important place in the state in terms of population.
What's an L?
Biggest 10% of the vote.
Libertarian.
Biggest county out of 159
Chase
counties in the state of Georgia. It's
Libertarian.
one of the most complicated, fun for me states. I know it's not fun for partisans at home as you go through it. And then the issue is, we'll go back in time here. I just want to go back to look when Brian Kemp won in 2018. This is the governor's race. We're talking about the Senate race, but it's the same math here.
Libertarians
it's the
are
suburbs
yellow.
around Atlanta. And it's not so much we expect those to be blue again, like they were in the Kemp race here. We expect them to be blue in the Senate race. The question is the margin.
Margins, exactly.
So we're going to be talking about margins per day. So let's come back to the Senate map and get this one take this out of the way and close this out. Come back to 2022. What else are you looking for? Dana and Chris and Abby was just talking about Herschel Walker. How do Republicans view Herschel Walker? If you go back to the 2020 presidential race, Donald Trump lost. Donald Trump lost Georgia by 11,000 votes. But look at all this red. This is a test for Herschel Walker in Georgia tonight. The polls close in a few minutes. It's a test for Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania. The polls close in the next hour. Can they run it up to Trump voters who like that particular style of Republican? Do they turn out? Do they turn out in decent high numbers? They're small counties, right? You go into some of these counties, and they're tiny in terms of the population, right? 2,400 votes, but 73%. That matters, right? Margins again.
When you only win, just to remind people, Joe Biden won Georgia by 11,779 votes. So if that's our template, all night we're going to be looking at, is Raphael Warnock matching what Biden did?
Correct.
Is Herschel Walker exceeding what Trump did? That's what we're going to be looking at.
Yes, and most of that will be around the Atlanta suburbs. So if Herschel Walker can overperform Trump in the Atlanta suburbs and then break even with Trump, right, in the rural areas, so do Trump voters view him as legitimate, one of them, and they turn out? And do suburban voters who were, frankly, repulsed by Donald Trump in much of the country say, we want a Republican in the Senate. We think Herschel Walker is good enough for us. It'll be a key in the governor's race and key in the Senate race as well as you pull it in. That's where it starts to get real. Let's come back to 2022 when we start to fill in the votes here. And we also then at the bottom of the hour, 7:30, you get North Carolina, which is one of those, if Democrats are going to have a surprise tonight and an extra piece, if you will, in the chess game that's going to become the Senate, the Sherry Beasley race in North Carolina. I have to come to the Senate for that. It's one of our competitive races.
Well, they're predicting a Democrat to win Kentucky House 3, a Democrat.
Former state Supreme Court Justice
with
15% of the member of the House Republican Conference.
And
she's running
a Republican to win
race.
Kentucky House
And
5.
if it ends up being 52-48,
with 3% of the
51-49 in
vote,
favor of the Republican, Democrats
CNN
saying we should have spent more money.
Oh,
the
I've already
Republican
heard Democrats say that they should have send more money to Sherry.
Incredibly tough climate. No national Democrat. They have a Democratic governor. Obama won it in 2008. Historic African American turnout. That will be critical for Sherry Beasley.
Top of the hour, guys. Here we go.
We'll start learning that 7:30 in the hour. But the top of the hour, Georgia is the big one for us. And I just want to walk over to the House map if we can sneak in here just as we come. Because what happens here is this in the House races. These are the ones that are in so far. 11 races coming in so far. 10 Republicans leading. 1 Democrat leading. These are not viewed as competitive races. But again, if you're in the party headquarters, you got to keep what you expect to keep. So the map filling in right now as expected. The challenge is, as we get into the next hour, here we bring up these competitive races. Virginia closes at the top of the hour. Just in the Commonwealth of Virginia, we have, and I'll bring it up for you right here, you have these Democratic incumbents. In the Northern Virginia suburbs, it's Jennifer Wexton. Just beneath her, as you move more into the central part of the state, but still suburban, Abigail Spanberger. And then you come down here, considered the most vulnerable of these three, Elaine Luria. She's on the January 6th committee. What happens in Virginia as we start to count those House races? Can Democrats keep all three? Do they lose one? Do they lose two? That's going to tell us a lot, Jake, about Republicans need a net gain of 5. Polls close in Virginia. That is a big early clue.
Wow.
All right, John, thanks so much. We are just moments away from the first big round of poll closings and the first
I bring you the content, my friends.
From the critical battleground state
Here we
of
go.
Georgia.
Predictions.
Senate race there among a handful of contests that will decide which party controls the chamber. And we are ready to make our first projection. CNN is projecting that incumbent Republican Senator Tim Scott will be re-elected, defeating Crystal Matthews. There are 4 Senate races that are too early right now, too early to call. Those races are, not surprisingly, the big Senate race in Georgia between incumbent Democrat Raphael Warnock and football star Herschel Walker. Too early to call. Also too early to call. Races in Vermont. There is an open Senate seat between Congressman Peter Welch and the challenger Malloy. Too early to call in Vermont. Too early to call in Indiana. Incumbent Senator Todd Young running for re-election. That race, too early to call. And then Kentucky, incumbent Senator Rand Paul. Too early to call right now. He is running for re-election. Let's look at the balance of power in the Senate at this hour right now. Remember, Democrats have 36 Senate seats. Republicans currently have 30 seats. 34 seats remain. And we'll be bringing those to you over the next few hours. 34 seats. Republicans only need to pick up 1 seat to win and regain control of the U.S. Senate. Let's go back to Georgia now, because Nick Valencia is at a voting location in Atlanta, Georgia, the biggest city in the country. And Nick, you have new information from the Secretary of State's office.
That's right. I want to start, though, by they just closed up shop here, Jake. At 7 p.m., the polls here officially closed in Georgia for most of the precincts. Here where we are in Fulton County, they just started to take away those vote here placards and close the door here, so voting has officially closed. It is quiet here, so quiet you can really hear the hum of the street lights. And just to give you an indication of how quiet it's been all day, of a registered 3,085 voters at this polling precinct, at last check, 361 cast their votes in person. I did ask the election supervisor, how many of those registered voters have voted early. She said she didn't have that information, but we'd find out in just a matter of hours. There's 2,600 polling locations across the state of Georgia. 6 of them have been ordered by the courts to stay open past that 7 p.m. deadline. 2 of them in Cobb County, another 2 in DeKalb County. That's important because those are 2 of the most populated counties. Secretary of State's office also making some news.
Why aren't they covering Florida?
Saying that we should get results earlier than expected, crediting a reformed Senate voting bill that gave more clarity to county elections officials as to when they could start counting.
All right, Nick Valencia, thanks so much. And the first actual votes are coming in from Georgia for the U.S. Senate race. They're hotly contested. Let's go to Casey Hunt. Casey, what are you seeing?
Yes, they are, Jake. We are finally starting to get some votes in this race that we have been talking about literally for months. Raphael Warnock out to an early lead, 75% of the vote. He's ahead by about 15,000 votes of Herschel Walker right now, who's coming in at 24.1%. Obviously, we're going to need to ask John King at the Magic Wall exactly where this vote is coming from, because we do not expect this race to be quite so lopsided as our early totals are showing us. Again,
That's
just 1%
crazy.
of the vote in
That
here.
would be really
And
good
Chase
news.
Oliver, that libertarian candidate, he could be the one that decides whether this race goes to a runoff, because if he picks up enough and neither one of these men is above 50, we could be looking at 4 more weeks of this. Let's check in on Florida, where we are also starting to get votes. Remember, Florida counts.
Yeah, that guy's
early.
already at
Val Demings out to
1%,
an
man.
early
Doesn't
lead,
look like anybody can get 50 now.
63.5%. To Marco Rubio's 35.7%. Another one where we're really going to want to know
my
where the votes are
God,
coming
look
in here,
at
because we
that.
expect this to tighten as the night goes on. Just 5%.
They're showing
of the votes in
Florida.
Billy
I
Valentine.
think you've got some updates.
Yes,
coming up.
Herschel Walker.
Still very early. We're going to take a quick
What?
look at Georgia.
Yes.
Right now, Stacey Abrams
Yes.
has a lead over incumbent Republican Brian Kemp. Abrams leading by about 13,000 votes. A lopsided advantage, but keep in mind, only 1% of the vote in the Peach State, a very important state for control of the U.S. Senate.
Wow.
Let's get an update now, a key race alert from the state of Florida, because there, Charlie Crist,
There you
the
go.
Democrat, also in the lead against incumbent Republican Ron DeSantis. He's ahead about 100,000 votes, but only 5% of the vote in so far.
in the Sunshine State, Jake.
Well,
all right. Well, these are just the votes coming in right now. Let's find out where they're coming from to give us an idea of the state of play and also why these races are so lopsided right now. So let's
Charlie
start
Crist
down
is
with
ahead
whether you want to
right
start
now.
Georgia or Florida. But where is this vote coming in showing such a Democratic?
5% of the votes
We are
in.
just getting started. So again, you're looking at this map and you're a Democrat, you're very happy. You're a Republican, should you be concerned? The
Mom.
answer is just wait. It's
No.
going to take a
Herschel
while.
Walker's
It's going to
getting
take a
his
while.
ass beat
But every
right
vote
now.
counts, right? And so you look, why is Charlie Crist ahead? Because
Yeah.
the only votes we have out of Florida are from heavily Democratic Broward County. It'll be interesting to
It's-
watch later tonight. Miami-Dade is just to the south.
62,
Traditionally a big
37,
Democratic
Chris
area as well.
DeSantis.
Republicans say watch Ron DeSantis and Marco
62,
Rubio
37.
in Miami-Dade tonight. We'll keep an eye on that when we get those votes. But
That's-
right now,
and just to interrupt for 1 second, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
That
I'm
Miami-Dade
so
thing
sorry.
you're talking about, that is also part of a theme that we will be following this night, maybe commenting on this night, is how much are Republicans improving their margins when it comes to the Latino vote?
absolutely, and it's a different Latino population in Florida than it is in Arizona.
This is who I voted for, guys, and I voted for Val Demings.
You go across the country, even in suburban Virginia. It's not as large a population, but it's a potential swing population.
Right.
So yes, that will be a dynamic throughout the night, throughout the week, and then in the months after, analyzing the election and what happened tonight. But the reason Charlie Crist is ahead right now, 250,000 votes, is because of Broward County. Now, you could say on the one hand, just calm down. On the other hand, if Charlie Crist is to be competitive, he needs to run it up in Broward County. So when you see these early results, you're in the Crist campaign, at least you're doing maybe what you need to do here. If you come back to the presidential race in 2020, Donald Trump won the state, but Joe Biden got 65% in Broward County. So that tells you, even if Charlie Crist is getting 65% here, Donald Trump won Florida. You want to quite handle it.
Right. I know.
If you
We
pull out-
should
I'm
know
sorry.
that right now on these early numbers, Biden is almost at 65%. Crist is at 62%. So these margins, again, it's early, but that's an underperformance as of now.
As of now.
And those margins matter.
Yeah, if Charlie Crist stays there in Broward County, he will. Joe Biden was higher, and he lost the state of Florida.
Right.
So, and this is where, again, it's a big county. It's second of population-wise.
crazy.
It's about 9%
So
of the
it's
state
just a-
population. So that's the governor's race. Since we're in Florida, let's just stay in the Senate race because it's the same result, essentially. Now you're getting a little bit more votes. See, I'll go back to the governor's race in just a minute. So you come
Yeah,
back to Broward
Rubio's
County
pulling
again,
up
she's
now.
running at 63, 64%. That's great. Is it good enough? That's the question as you move in. So we're finally getting some votes out here. This is interesting in terms of by the end of the night. This says 62% of the estimated vote in Pinellas County. I would caution early on. We'll see if that holds up. Sometimes, you get the mail-in ballot, you get the other ballot. See if that number holds up. This can be a potential swing county. Pretty close, right? That's why it's a swing county. That's pretty close in the tide there.
62%. And how did Biden do?
So you went to 2020, we hit presidential, and Biden gets 50. Right, that's a 50-50. This is one of your swing counties in America where you go through. It's the 6th largest in the state. It's 5% of the population. It's a tie essentially. Biden won by just a little bit here as you come through it. So let's come back to 2022. And again, it's interesting to see the early votes, and it helps you build your questions essentially. If you do what I do for a living, is how's it coming in and go. But I would, no one should jump to any conclusions here. But as we're talking, this is the wonder of election night. As we're talking, you get more. So you come up here, I'm in the House map here. Let me come back to the Senate race. And you come up here and you see, again, this is a place where the Democrats have to win. But if you come out statewide and look, we got a long way to go, right? So Val Demings is ahead early on. Senator Rubio is favored in this race. But again, this is one of these races where she was viewed as the most House member, former law enforcement official, viewed as the most competitive Democrat they could do in a state that is a Republican state.
Let's head north. Let's go to Georgia.
Let's head up to Georgia. So we see the Senate race here. And again, Raphael Warnock pulling out to an early lead. You'd always rather be ahead than behind, but look at how empty. So we do have some early votes in Fulton County. You have him up 75% in Fulton County. That's what has
That's a lot, and that's a lot of the vote. That's 63% in this huge bucket of votes. Can I ask, how is Raphael Warnock compared to Stacey Abrams, who's running for governor on the very same ballot?
So this is a fundamental question we'll go through the night. In Atlanta, where you have it's the largest population center, it's 10% statewide vote, and you have a significant African American population, so the Democratic base. So you see Raphael Warnock at 75.3%. Remember the raw numbers too. Sometimes the raw numbers matter. 209,000. Okay. And then you come over 75 and 209. You come over here 71 and 198. So again, this is early, but if that holds up, that's a problem for Stacey Abrams.
But that means, just to translate for our viewers, that means that there are people who are going into their polling places and voting for Brian Kemp, the Republican, and then on the Senate race voting for Raphael Warnock, the Democrat.
or the Libertarian, but yes, not certainly going elsewhere.
Right.
Democrats who are voting for Senate and then not voting for Stacey Abrams, whether they leave it blank or whether they're voting for Kemp or
that's not
Hayes.
good.
That's something at the end of the night we'll be able to add up Kemp math there and compare it to see Kemp running. There's your number right there though, 64,796. So just shy of 65,000 so far early in the Senate race, and you see Brian Kemp at 79,000.
Yeah.
So Brian Kemp is getting more votes in hugely, overwhelmingly Democratic Fulton County than the Senate candidate. That's an incumbent Republican governor. The panel was talking about it earlier, whose brand is strong in the state. And again, if that holds up, if Brian Kemp is running there, you say 28%. He's getting whooped in Fulton County, but that's not a bad number. Yeah. If then he has to again. The suburbs around Atlanta are likely to be blue at the end of the night. The question is Brian Kemp strong enough? Because almost all of this is going to be red.
Two of the phenomena that we're going to be watching all night in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and elsewhere is comparing how these candidates are doing with how Trump and Biden did in 2020 and whether there's outperformance, and also ticket splitting. Yeah. Because that's going to be relevant in Georgia. It's going to be relevant in Pennsylvania.
Nick
as we stand
Brown.
by for more votes from
Abrams
Georgia
is trash.
and Florida and other places.
Emo.
All places in 3 more states are closing very soon, featuring 2 very important U.S. Senate races. This election night, it's just getting started. Brew some coffee. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
She's an election denier. Hi, I'm Chris Wallace. Watch my show. You guys are welcome. I turned off the Chevy music so I don't have to listen to it. You'll make it really small, too. Look at that. There's the show.
Patrick John Welder. How's Texas looking?
Po flow. What is going on? That is a great idea right there. It's a great idea.
Nick Brown. Deshosho Yekamon.
Show. Bitcoin's at 1846. So it dipped down to 17.5 and it's been slowly rising. I don't know if it's going to go back down to 17.5 again, but you guys, if you're in the market to purchase Bitcoin,
Patrick John Welder.
Now's a great time to do it.
We gonna be left with Wheelchair Abbott. Big Merc 83. None of that stuff, yo.
Matic is still above $1. 104. Harmony 1 is at 1 cent 700. 01700. 1 cent 690 now. Remember it was 710 before. That's dropping a little bit. But after that big dip, 17.5, Bitcoin's leveled off at 18.4 basically, which is virtually $1,000 higher than that, which is a pretty safe spot. Pretty far away, pretty interesting to see what it's going to do. I could probably do look at that, negative 19, Harmony 1. That's crazy. Look at that, dude. I got you all the information. For your edification, I got the information. You guys, look at all that. Got the crypto market up there. Got the Luna up there. Got the Cardano ADA. Got the Matic. Got the Ethereum. 1,320. Got that going on. This is what's going to happen. Breaking news. CNN reporting. New projections in. Now, so-and-so is going to win here, and so-and-so is going to win here. Watch this, what they're going to do right now. That shit's about to happen right any second. Oh. Here we go.
On November 16th at 9.
Breaking news. Projections, CNN projections.
Welcome back to CNN's Election Night in America. Let me just bring you up to speed about what we're going to be looking for all night when it comes to control of the House and the Senate. All right. In the U.S. Senate, Democrats currently have 36 seats. Republicans currently have 30 seats. We'll be looking at the 34 seats that are remaining. Remember, Republicans only need to pick up one net seat in order to regain control of the U.S. Senate. Now let's take a look at the U.S. House. As of right now, Democrats, we are projecting, have won 2 seats. Republicans have won 5 seats. It is very early. 428 seats remain. Democrats and Republicans battling for that magic number of 218 needed to control the House of Representatives. That is where we are in the evening as of right now. Now, look, we're not going to be looking at all 435 seats. We're going to be looking at a very few competitive seats. It's about 82. And right now, Republicans have to win 30 of those 82 in order to regain control of the House. And Democrats need to win 53 of those competitive seats in order to hold on to control of the House. Let's go to Casey Hunt right now to give us an update on where things actually stand with the actual vote coming in on these competitive U.S. Senate races. Casey.
Sounds good, Jake. Let's start here in Florida, which has tightened since the last time we visited.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
49.9% for the Democrat, Val Demings. About 13,000 or so votes separating her from incumbent Republican Senator Marco Rubio at 49.1%. So this is a much closer representation to where we actually expect this to be, but it's still very, very early in the night, only about 20-something% in of the vote in Florida. Now let's take a look at Georgia, where Warnock's still sitting up at 67.8%. That's about 145,000 votes ahead of the Republican Herschel Walker. But again, this is expected to be one of the closest races that we look at all night long. The question, does somebody hit 50% and avoid a runoff and 4 more weeks of this, Jake?
All right, Casey, thanks so much. We are counting down to the next round of poll closings. More early tests of whether Democrats will hold or lose their control of the House.
I look like a little Sonic the Hedgehog, don't I?
7:30 Eastern. Polls will close in North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia. Control of the U.S. House of Representatives. 31 seats are at stake in the 3 states where voting is about to end. Only 5 of those races are competitive, though. But every one of them could help tilt
Sonic the Hedgehog
one way or another. In the battle for the U.S. Senate,
I look like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Has been contentious. 10-term Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan facing venture capitalist and author J.D. Vance. They are vying for an open seat currently held by a Republican senator. In North Carolina, Democrat Sherry Beasley is aiming to become the state's first black senator. The former state Supreme Court justice is up against 3-term Congressman Ted Budd for an open Senate seat currently held by a retiring Republican senator.
Go Beasley. Go Beasley.
Ohio, West Virginia, and North Carolina just moments from now. Let's check in right now with Melanie Zanona. She's in Columbus, Ohio, covering Republican Senate candidate J.D. Vance. Melanie, CNN caught up with the candidate as he arrived at campaign headquarters.
Yeah, we spotted him outside the hotel. We asked him how he is feeling, and he says, we're feeling good. He was all smiles. And I can tell you, I checked in with a campaign source.
She's got some power bangs, baby. Woo!
Excitement as the polls are about to come to a close here. They say they're seeing low turnout in Cuyahoga County. That is a strong Democratic county that includes Cleveland, that went for Joe Biden in 2020. So that's a very important county for
She's
Tim
got
Ryan.
green eyes and red hair. Power bangs. There is a potential data lag in Cleveland proper where there's less staffing with precincts, and that they are seeing some good numbers in the suburbs. So they're encouraged by that. But as you can see, it's starting to get underway here at the election party. This is the Ohio GOP election night party. This is where Vance is. I'm told that he's been popping in and out of the war room that his team has set up here, and that he's been checking in when they're crunching numbers. But they'll know more in the next 30 minutes after the polls close. And remember, here in Ohio, it's all about the 3 C's: Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland. Jake.
All right, Melanie Zanona at Vance headquarters. Let's go down to New Hampshire, where Diane Gallagher is at the headquarters of Don Bolduc. And Diane, Republicans in Washington are very bullish about Mr. Bolduc's chances to defeat and unseat an incumbent Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan. What are they telling you up there?
They are, Jake, here as well. I spoke with a Republican close to the campaign just a bit ago who tells me they remain confident that they're seeing decent turnout in Republican strongholds here in New Hampshire.
DeSantis, Chris. Oh, DeSantis is ahead.
Polls just in the weeks leading up to the election. Now, I also spoke with a Democratic strategist with incumbent Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan's campaign, and they told me that they feel good where they are.
I can't believe
right
they
now.
didn't mention Florida, and now they're covering Florida. Those fucking sons of bitches.
So far, but they cautioned it was still early. And Jake, they also noted that they always
What's up,
anticipated
bees?
this would be a close
Bees.
race, pointing to the fact that Hassan won her
Bees.
race in
Can you go outside,
2016 by
Bees?
just over 1,000
I gotta take Rudy out.
back then. But look, there's also eyes across the nation on this race for
Yeah,
another
okay.
reason, and that's because of the Democrats' controversial approach to how they funded essentially ads that supported Bolduc in the Republican primary, thinking that he was an easier opponent because he was a more far-right candidate, an election denier, against his moderate opponent.
Big
in that
Merc
primary.
83.
Of course, Bolduc did win.
I'll wait.
And now they're looking at a toss-up race here, one that they say could come down to the wire in just a matter of a few votes potentially.
That's right. Play with fire, you get burned. Diane Gallagher, thank you so much. In Manchester, New Hampshire with the Bolduc campaign. David Chalian has some new exit polls from Ohio, where we're watching that big Senate race. What do you got there, Dave?
Yeah, we sort of are taking a look here at the economy in Ohio, sort of a scene setter. And I want you to take a look at how Ohio voters are experiencing the economy.
Nick Brown.
We asked, what is
You
the
better
condition
big
of
and
the
Merc.
nation's economy? 40% say not so good, 35% say poor. So 3/4 of Ohio voters in this election say the economy is either not so good or poor. We also asked about what kind of experience are you having with inflation? And in the past year, Ohio voters, 19% of them say they've had severe hardship caused by inflation. Another 55% say they've had moderate hardship.
He didn't want to go outside.
Of the Ohio
Hey, it's the
electorate
Stay
says
Puft
they've had no
Marshmallow
hardship caused by
tubing.
inflation. How about Biden's policies,
God, he's
whether
all
or not
puffed
they're
up.
helping or hurting the country? This is a rough number for Tim Ryan to see, even as he's tried to run a campaign distance from Joe Biden. 52% of Ohio voters say Biden policies are hurting the country. Only 34% say helping, 11% say not making a difference. And Biden's just overall approval rating in Ohio, it's even a tick below, Jake, from where we see it nationally. He's only at 42% approval in Ohio among the electorate in this election, 57% disapprove. That's sort of the upstream that Tim Ryan's trying to swim in this election.
That's right. It's a very disapproving electorate in Ohio based on the exit polls. Just to remind you, what we're going to be doing all night when it comes to control of the U.S. House is looking at the competitive races, because this is where the Republicans and Democrats are either going to win or lose control of the U.S. House of Representatives. Right now, there are 8 competitive seats that are too early to call. Republicans are leading in 6 of the 8.
Oh, shit.
Democrats
The
are
dog and the
leading in
cat are gonna
2
fight now.
of the 8. Now, it's early yet, but that is where we are. Right now, 8 competitive seats, too early to call. Republicans in the lead of
Me
6.
in the middle.
The Democrats in the lead in 2. Let's go over to the magic wall right now. John King, let's talk about this, because the way that you look at whether or not there is a national mood, a wave, something, some phenomenon happening, is by looking at whether or not there are trends in these House races that are competitive.
Exactly right. And we'll focus on the competitive race in the district. I just wanted to say, because it's early in the night, just remember, this is ahead. These candidates are ahead. 34 Republicans ahead, 19 Democrats ahead, 6 in competitive seats ahead. These races are not called yet, right? If you come over here, you see these are the races. These are uncalled races. These are called races. So when
Next
we say
polls
these
close
candidates
in
are
less
ahead,
than 7 minutes.
we mean we're not done yet, right? But we're just trying to lay out where we are in the battlefield right now. So if you just look at this number, you were focusing on the competitive races, 82 of them across the country. If this stays this way, as we start calling races, then you have a Republican House, and if it stays that way, 6-2,
that's a wave.
That would be, I don't know if it'd be a wave, but it would be 20 plus, might be 25 plus, and we'd go across the country.
Well, I was going by percentages.
Yeah,
If Republicans pick up 75% of the competitive seats,
then we'd be done.
That's what I mean.
Essentially, the Democrats need to flip that. Right, that Democrats are on their heels. They cannot split the competitive seats. They cannot even win 60% of the competitive seats. They have to win even more than that. That tells you how bad the.
You know what's so
this is the
funny? I
full
sit here
House
and I
House
listen to
as it
them
pulls it,
speaking,
tilts it. let's just isolate.
And I don't
those competitive
fucking
states
understand
because they're in very
9/10 of what
important
they're
places as you watch
saying.
it play out.
You know, it's
Again,
like
you see the gray.
it's
These are the
like
ones
they're
that the
speaking
polls
another
show, right?
language.
It's a lot of we get to the West Coast, but look
I
what's
thought
going
it
in
was
so
only
far.
me.
God, dude.
Red, a lot of red. Red. You see a lot of red. So you have one of the races in New Hampshire. These results are very early, okay? So we need to be careful here. But the Democratic incumbent here is Chris Pappas. That's a very close race. But look, 28 to 26. Okay, we just have the very early votes here. So don't jump to conclusions, but this is how we will be watching
Josh
this,
G.
Right? This is a white working class
You can
district
visibly and
in the
audibly
state of
see
New
the
Hampshire.
copium they're
Republicans are
taking in
hoping to
haha.
pick this up. And if they can pick up that kind of district here, then you think, all right, what districts are like that as you move west? That's how we'll do the calculation throughout the night. This is what is interesting so far in the sense that in the Commonwealth of Virginia, where the polls are now closed, you have 3 Democratic incumbents in competitive races. What you see there is red. Again, it's early. It's early. So we caution everybody, draw no conclusions from this. But this one here is the most Democratic of these districts. Joe Biden won this district by 18 points, right? Hung Kao, the Republican challenger, is 263 votes ahead of Jennifer Wexton. She's the Democratic
That's
incumbent.
only 2%
But
reporting
exactly.
right now.
That's
Yeah.
where I was coming. So we're just laying out the stakes for you and the key races for you tonight. We're nowhere near conclusions in these yet. Obviously, you'd rather be ahead. So here's Washington, D.C. Here's Arlington. You're coming across. This is the Northern Virginia suburbs. 132,000 median income here, well above the national average. It's a very affluent district that Democrats, this college-educated, high-income people, Democrats have
Steve
traditionally done
Salisbury.
well recently. Now you're dropping down.
It's going to interesting
Our
to see
competitive
how it
district,
turns out.
Joe Biden only won this one by 7. That's still, Joe Biden won it by 7
Josh
points,
G.
6.7
Looks like a
points,
red
2
wave.
years ago.
Dang,
2 years
lots
ago,
of
and it's
folks
competitive.
on
Leslie
Rumble.
Vega, the conservative challenger, 2,776 votes again. Again, only 4%. So we're early on in the night. But if you're the Republicans and you're trying to do your
Do you
math,
wanna go
there's one,
outside?
there's 2. And then the national
Let's go.
name you might know here,
Come on,
the
let's go
third
outside.
race in Virginia, who is currently behind.
Dave Campione.
6% of the vote in here.
Election
Jen
with
Kagan's
nay.
the Republican challenger, 1,916 votes ahead to Elaine Laurier. We were just in the northern Virginia suburbs. This is down southeast Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, along the coast in the Atlantic Ocean. In this district here, this is Elaine Laurier. Biden just carried this one by 1.8. It's Democrat by 1.8. So you see how this is a very competitive district, less competitive district as you go through. If the Republicans can hold these seats in Virginia, and we're early, the Republicans are hoping to get 2 out of the 3. If they get 3 out of the 3, then back to your term.
So there's a Democratic pollster that is a wise man. He told me there are 3 things he's looking at. One of them is these 3 seats early on. He means early in order to get an idea of how the night's going to go. One is these 3 seats. The other one is New Hampshire Senate. And I don't know
Senate.
the New Hampshire Senate race.
Yeah, come on over.
So let's go over here.
Let's slide on over.
And let's see how it is. So right now, the New Hampshire Senate race, because that's become competitive.
Right.
Incumbent Democrat Maggie Hassan against former, I think, General Donald Bolduc.
Exactly. An election denier who then, right after he won his primary, tried to switch back and then went back again because the Republican base was getting mad at him. Had a war of words throughout the Republican primary with the state's popular Republican governor. Governor Sununu has made peace with Don Bolduc and has backed him in the election. This,
Right.
as we say this, so this is, look, we're 1,200 votes.
It's
to
nothing.
1,166 votes.
But
We're nothing.
this is something to keep an eye on.
Right. It's nothing. And also, so the main thing here in New Hampshire, I'm just going to come up here. This corridor right here, from Concord down to Manchester, down to Nashua, that's where the bulk of the population lives. That doesn't mean that every vote doesn't matter if it's close. But the bulk of the population is here. It's more suburban, and it's absolutely key to the Democrats. And we just got some votes in, so let me clear that out. This is the state capital in Concord. Maggie Hassan, again, it says 13%. Again, watch these numbers as our teams try to calculate how many people turned out on election day. What are the early votes?
How did Biden do in Concord?
So we come to 2020. We hit the presidential race.
65.
Biden gets 65%.
So she's exceeding that right now.
Right
It's
now.
early, very early.
Right now. Former governor, too. That was her office, right? She's the former governor of the state.
Right.
Now she's the United States Senator. But let's pull out from 2020. Let's come back to 2022. And you pull out the state right now. That's the House. That's the House district on the other side.
Right.
And so you come in here. And so where is General Bolduc ahead? He's in Guilford, 45th in terms of population. They call them towns in New Hampshire. They're not counties. Guilford's a great little town. If you're coming through New Hampshire and you're driving up, say, to go to Conway, the North Country, to go skiing, it's a beautiful little town. It's a more Republican town there. Again, 26 votes to 16 votes. We have a long way to go in the count. But to your point about why this race matters, again, it's a 50-50 Senate. This is a Democratic incumbent. In the final days of the campaign, Republicans were thinking 2 months ago, Bolduc didn't have a shot. 2 weeks ago, maybe. 2 days ago, Republicans saying, let's help General Bolduc. Maybe we can get him to the finish line. So this is in the game, the 50-50 Senate. Democrats need to hold this seat. They can't be losing any of the blue seats as they go through it here. So this is what we watch here in the Senate race. As you pull it out here right now, and you see the early results in the Georgia Senate. Senator Warnock still ahead, but it's very early. And very early on, the Democratic candidate was leading in the Florida Senate race. Now the Republican incumbent, Marco Rubio, is leading. And as we get ahead, we're about to get, when it comes to the Senate, we're about to get Ohio. And when it comes to the House, we get many more competitive districts, Jake, in the moments ahead. And again, results coming in Virginia, competitive districts in New Hampshire. We'll have a good sense the next 30 minutes or so how the House is looking.
All right, John King, polls are closing in 3 more states. 2 of them, Ohio and North Carolina, have high-stakes U.S. Senate races, so we're watching very closely. So here is a key race alert. CNN is saying it is too early to call. Too early to call the Ohio Senate race between J.D. Vance and incumbent Congressman Tim Ryan, both of them squaring off for an open U.S. Senate seat. Too early to call in Ohio. In North Carolina, another open Senate seat from another Republican retiring. That race as well between Sherry Beasley and Congressman Ted Budd. That race also too early to call. The overall balance of power right now in the U.S. Senate, Democrats control 36 U.S. Senate seats. Republicans control 30 U.S. Senate seats. 34 seats remain. Remember, Republicans only need to pick up 1 net Senate seat. Let's go to Boris Sanchez right now, who has a projection when it comes to governor's races. Boris.
Jake, this is our first projection in a governor's race for the evening, and it comes from the state of Ohio. There, incumbent Republican Mike DeWine thread a needle. He was both critical of Donald Trump after the January 6th insurrection and then earned the former president's endorsement after the Republican primary. He defeats the Democratic mayor of Dayton, Ohio, Nan Whaley. Let's get some key race alerts now, beginning with the state of Florida. Last time we checked in, the former Republican governor turned Democratic Congressman Charlie Crist had the lead. Now it belongs to Ron DeSantis, more than 285,000 votes ahead, with 44% of the vote in Florida. Let's get an update now on the state of Georgia. There, still very early, but legendary vote mobilizer Stacey Abrams is ahead, 73,000 votes against incumbent Republican Brian Kemp. Only 13% of the vote in there. So we will likely watch that potentially change throughout the night as we turn it over to Casey Young, who has some Senate races.
We sure will. Thank you very much, Forrest. And I do want to start actually in Georgia. We are starting to get some numbers where we can compare things a little bit. So let's take a look at this. Raphael Warnock sitting at 60.1%. But look at that Herschel Walker number, 38.5%. That is different from the Republican gubernatorial candidate Brian Kemp, who sits at 42.6%. So again, we want to check with John King on this, but some early signs that perhaps as expected, Herschel Walker's underperforming Brian Kemp, the gubernatorial candidate there. We still expect this race to tighten considerably, only 13% of the vote in here. Let's go now to Florida, where Marco Rubio has taken the lead, probably as many of you expected. He's sitting now at 54% to Val Demings' 45%. Florida's going to count these votes relatively quickly. We've got 45% of the vote in there, but we're obviously going to keep watching it through the night. Let's go north now, though, to New Hampshire, where we are just starting to get votes in to this state, which swings so often with a wave when we see one. Maggie Hassan out to a relatively early lead. Again, there's only a few thousand votes in here, but she's sitting at 59.2% to Don Bolduc's 39.6%. This is one where Republicans started to take more interest, were encouraged by how things were moving late. But Hassan's team has been feeling good throughout the night so far. We've got 1% of the vote in New Hampshire, Jake.
That's only 1%. Got a lot more votes to count. John King, let's take a look at governor's races right now in the United States.
The one that jumps out at you is Georgia at the moment, in the sense that New Hampshire would be status quo. It's the Republican governor, Chris Sununu. Again, 1% of the vote in. Governor Sununu ahead by 9 points there if you round. Not a surprise, but we'll watch it as we play out through the night. South Carolina, Henry McMaster, heavily favored in this race. The early results, pretty close. But again, it's 1% of the vote as you watch it in. But what jumps out at you, Florida, just because we brought it up earlier when Charlie Crist was ahead, Ron DeSantis has now pulled ahead in the state of Florida. You're seeing some of the rural counties fill in with the red, up to about 48% of the estimated vote. We'll watch this as it plays out. But Governor DeSantis pulling ahead. And we mentioned earlier, Republicans said they could perform in Miami-Dade.
And look at that.
And look at that. They're leading right there. If this stays red, it's fascinating in the governor's race and the Senate race. And there'll be a lot of conversation about this as we head out of 2022 into the 2024 cycle, if this stays red. We're at 60%, or if it turns just blue and it's close, because that has been overwhelmingly Democratic in recent years. But here's the one right now that you want to look at right now. If you're Democrats at home, watching around the country, this is a rematch, right? Stacey Abrams, as Boris noted, a Democratic organizer, someone in turnout on Joe Biden's list of potential vice presidential candidates, a rematch of 4 years ago. And you're looking at the vote right now, you would say, wow, with 13% of the vote in, 56% to 43% against an incumbent Republican governor. The question is, though, there's still, number one, there's a lot of votes still to be counted. You see these smaller counties around Georgia, most of them, if you come back to the presidential election, again, Joe Biden won Georgia in 2020, but just barely, just shy of 12,000 votes. But see all that red. And now I just want to come back to 2022 in the governor's race. We have a lot to count in the red rural parts of Georgia. But there's also a question, Jake, when you see an early lead like this, of what votes do we have and what votes are we waiting for?
Right.
Stacey Abrams beginning to pull away in Fulton County here. But again, Brian Kemp getting 29%. If you come back, let's just look at the Senate race for a second here.
That's what I wanted to look at. So
Herschel Walker getting 23% in Fulton County. So we discussed very early on that Governor Kemp was overperforming, or Herschel Walker was underperforming the Republican incumbent governor in the largest basket of votes, 10% of the state population.
So, show me the overall Senate race right now. Warnock, again, it's only 16%.
Right.
But Warnock has 386,472 with 59.6% of the vote, and Stacey Abrams is under that.
Yes. Now, number one, remember, Georgia, this. There's no one expecting anybody in this race.
No.
Democrat or Republican,
this is early.
Anywhere near that number. But yes, if you look at Warnock versus Abrams, she's 3 percentage points below. She's at 56. He's at 59. And
right, it's about 9. Raphael Warnock, as of now, in actual votes, and again, this is all just coming in right now. It's very early, 16%. Raphael Warnock has about 80,000 more votes than she does, meaning people are voting for Raphael Warnock and then not voting for Stacey Abrams.
Right, and some of those votes clearly going to the governor, because we looked at Fulton County, look at the statewide first. You see 43.4% for Governor Kemp. Let's come to the Senate race, and you see only 39%. So Herschel Walker underperforming the Republican governor. There's one of your questions there. And then let's just come into Fulton County here, and you see Herschel Walker getting 23.3, just shy of 65,000 votes. Again, this is overwhelmingly the biggest Democratic area in the state. Then you look at the governor's race, and Brian Kemp is getting 28%.
Even more.
It's 79,000 votes. So you have an incumbent governor. There's a lot of, this is Atlanta and the suburbs, right? You say Fulton County, you see the Atlanta, you think it's just the city. It's the city and then the suburbs around it, a growth area, very business area. There are a fair amount of Republicans here, don't get me wrong, but it's the most overwhelmingly Democratic county in the state.
So overall, give me the whole. So it's 16% with Democrats leading in the governor's race and Democrats leading in the Senate race, but it's only 16%. Let's go to David Chalian, if I can, at the Battleground desk. Where are the votes coming in, David? Because obviously this is a very strong early lead for Democrats that I don't think is going to bear out throughout the rest of the night.
Yeah, so one of the things we're going to be looking at all night long where we can is sort of
Chuck D.
What kind of vote is
Herschel Walker for governor. What a joke.
Absentee by
Might
mail,
as well put
early
in a
vote,
call
which
for
we know
Yosemite
tends
Sam.
to favor Democrats more. They show up more robust numbers that way versus election day votes. So I just want to show you, this is the state of play right now that you and John have been talking about, Jay. Raphael Warnock has 389,000 votes right now in the Georgia
Big
Senate
Merc
race.
83.
So Herschel Walker's 258,000. 16% of the estimated vote is currently in. But how much of this current vote is that early vote, pre-election vote, where Democrats tend to show up
Edwin
in bigger
Sparks
numbers?
420.
Well, right now,
Hi.
99%, nearly all the vote you're looking at in that wall with John is early vote. And we have estimated that at the end of the day, when all the votes in Georgia are counted, that number is going to come down to 61%. We've estimated that 61% of the overall vote will have been early vote, which we know broke records in Georgia. But right now, 99% is. So look at the governor's race. It's a similar story. Stacey Abrams currently with 367,000 votes to Brian Kemp's 288,000 votes. Again, this is 16% of the estimated vote that's in, but all of it, nearly 99%, is the pre-election vote, Jake. It's the early vote. We think that is only going to make up 61% of the overall vote when it is fully tallied, which means a lot more election day vote is going to come in as a share of the vote, and that could, of course, benefit Brian Kemp, benefit Herschel Walker, since Republicans tend to show up in greater proportion on election day in person.
Indeed. Interesting, David Chalian. And I don't suppose we have the technology to know what percentage of the early vote Joe Biden won over Donald Trump in 2020. 20.
Those numbers are available to us. They're not in here, but it's disproportionately. I mean, remember, like in Philadelphia, it was over.
But I'm wondering where Raphael Warnock was, because if this is
how big of a lead does he have?
This is basically, we say it's a 16%. This is basically just the early vote.
It's the early vote.
This is the early vote, and I'm wondering what that matches if somebody backstage.
Overwhelmingly and disproportionately a Democratic vote.
So let's go ahead north if we can, because North Carolina, there's a big Senate race there, and I wonder what's going on there.
First results in here, and again, I'm going to suspect it's the very same dynamic, and David can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. But again, Sherry Beasley ran a remarkably competitive campaign. We talked earlier about Democrats saying maybe we should have helped her out a little bit earlier. A Republican member of the House, Ted Budd, had Donald Trump's endorsement in the primary, trying to move up to statewide office. Sherry Beasley, former state Supreme Court Chief Justice, 60% to 40% if you round everybody up. You see where the blue is. Well, it's blue where it should be blue if a Democrat's going to be competitive. That is Wake County, the second largest county in the state. You see right here, 68% to 30%, 54% of the vote in. African-American population, college-educated population. The number one county is here, Mecklenburg. That's almost 11% of the state population, 70% to 29%, or 69, 29. She's not right. Can't round that up just yet. This is what you want to do if you're the Democrat, right? Joe Biden won this county by 35 points. She's winning it by 39 points. Almost
40 points.
Yeah, even 40. It is 40 points. But again, it's 50% here, and I suspect we're looking at the early vote as well. David can, if I'm wrong, David will jump in. But so you look at the map when you fill it out. Again, this is going to be a competitive race. This will be a competitive race, but we're at 33%.
Wow.
And I'm just going to note again, you come to some of these rural counties. I'm just going to move up here to the Virginia border. Rockingham County is 31 in terms of vote count, but Donald Trump won this county by 32 points.
Yeah.
We have no votes yet, so Republicans will run it up.
Let's go to David to tell us where this vote's coming from. David's at the battleground desk for us. David, is this early vote?
It is. You've identified this correctly. So this may be an important factor here when you're looking at these vote totals. Sherry Beasley right now, 784,000 votes in the vote count to Ted Budd's 527,000. We think about a third of the overall vote is already in, but how much of this is pre-election vote that is in this total? 100% of it, guys. And we think at the end of the day, only 55% of the North Carolina vote is going to be early vote, pre-election vote. So right now, it is this heavily inflated Beasley vote, Jake, because 100% of what you see, basically 100% of what you see, is this pre-election and early vote where Democrats tend to participate that way. We have barely any election day vote, which is likely going to be a Ted Budd big category of votes.
And let's remind people also, John, I mean, North Carolina can be competitive. It has a Democratic governor. It has a Democratic attorney general. Joe Biden lost, but narrowly. What was his margin in 2020?
Let's come to the presidential race in 2020, and you look at the race.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he lost, but he lost by 74,000 votes.
Obama won it. Let's go back in time. Let's do the history because
won it once and won it.
It's actually a fascinating history. Obama just won it over John McCain. Historic African American turnout in the first Obama election of 2008. It was history in the making, and African American voters turned out in huge numbers. And then Democrats thought, North Carolina, Sunbelt state, changing population, more college-educated voters. Democrats start making inroads in the traditionally Republican suburbs around Raleigh, around Charlotte.
And they had a Democratic senator there for a while.
Democratic senator, and then you come back, Kay Hagan in that year. Kay Hagan was the last Democratic senator elected in that year with Barack Obama. So then look at this, Mitt Romney pulls it out just barely. It's a close election, right? It's 2 points in 2012. Democrats keep thinking, but then you get it. You can move forward to 2016.
Rubio's ahead of Demings now in Florida, 63% of the vote.
The Gary Johnson campaign, you could say the third-party candidate matters. Trump getting just over
62% of the vote, and DeSantis is ahead of Chris
thought maybe we can get it
by more than 11 points, which was the polling.
Let me walk into the House over here, John, just because lots going on here too with the votes coming in Georgia, in North Carolina. And elsewhere, and it looks like no changes in Virginia.
Yeah, no changes. As you look here again, these numbers can be somewhat misleading, so we're going to try to describe them throughout the night. Right? You're looking
Warnock's
at this
still ahead of Walker in Georgia,
and you have Democrats leading in 50,
with 29% of the vote in.
Republicans leading in 50. As Jake laid out earlier, we've identified 82 competitive races with our partner Inside Elections. Republicans are leading in 7 of those competitive seats right now, not called yet. Democrats leading in 5 of them. That's not good enough for the Democrats. The Democrats have to disproportionately win the competitive seats if they have any chance of defying history. Republicans need a net gain of 5. The average in a president's first midterm since Ronald Reagan is 30. So can Joe Biden has to defy that history. History says Republicans will get somewhere in the ballpark of 30. The Democrats have to keep it to 5. So what are we looking at right now? Again, you start in the Northeast, 2 Democratic seats in New Hampshire. You see right now the Democrat leading, and Custer leading in this seat right here, 51 to 48. But again, 1% of the vote in here. And you don't see any color in the 1st district, Democratic incumbent Chris Pappas, because there are no votes counted yet as we come in. But then, Jake, you moved down. You made the point about Virginia. I just want to pop it up real quick. There are 3 competitive districts here. Let me bring them up. 3 competitive seats, all Democratic incumbents at the moment, Republicans leading in all 3 of them.
In all 3 of them, absolutely. And we are closing in on one of the most critical hours of this election night with the biggest round of poll closings. At 8 p.m. Eastern, voting ends in Alabama, Connecticut, Delaware, the District of Columbia, Florida, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Mississippi,
God, I was wondering why
Missouri,
they weren't talking about the other
New
states.
Hampshire, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Tennessee. There's a lot on the line in the hour ahead as both parties aim for the 218 seats needed to win control of the U.S. House of Representatives. A whopping 161 House seats are at stake in this next round of poll closing. 25 of those races, 25 are competitive. That includes contests in Michigan and Texas, where voting is about to end in most of those states' congressional districts. On to the Senate. We're standing by for the first results from one of the most consequential races tonight in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, the Democrat, is hoping to flip an open Senate seat from red to blue. He's in a heated contest with his Republican opponent, former TV doctor Mehmet Oz. Fetterman's recovery from a stroke in May has been a prominent issue in this race. In New Hampshire, Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan is trying to beat back a strong challenge from retired General Don Bolduc, who's gone back and forth on his statements about who won the 2020 election. In the Florida race for U.S. Senate, Democratic Congresswoman Val Demings has an uphill climb in the increasingly red-trending state. Demings is challenging the incumbent Republican 2-term senator and former presidential candidate Marco Rubio. Turning to the key governor's races now, in Pennsylvania, State Attorney General Josh Shapiro is aiming to keep the governor's office in Democratic hands. His Republican opponent, State Senator Doug Mastriano, was a central figure in Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election results in Pennsylvania. And in Florida, the former Democratic congressman and former Republican Charlie Crist is challenging the state's high-profile Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. DeSantis, of course, a potential 2024 presidential candidate. With the end of voting just minutes away, let's check in on that key Senate race in Pennsylvania. Jessica Dean is at the headquarters of Democratic Senate candidate John Fetterman. And Jessica, how does the Fetterman campaign see the night progressing?
Well, Jake, they are well aware that these numbers from Philadelphia, which of course is a Democratic stronghold, and to win statewide as a Democrat, you really got to run up the numbers there in Philadelphia. They're aware those numbers are going to come in pretty slowly. So
go ahead, brother. I'm good.
I just got a memo to everyone saying, buckle up, this is going to take some time. They also are going to keep their eye on some bellwether counties across the Commonwealth that they do think they'll get some data from earlier on that will kind of give them an indication of where they're going, how they stack up to what Biden did in 2020, for example.
Cheers,
in the meantime, I've also talked to them about how they feel about how they closed out the last 5 days of this campaign. And in talking to campaign sources, they really believe they did this as strongly as they possibly could. And several of them pointed to the Oprah Winfrey.
All right, you guys, I'm going to call the shows right now, but I will see you in the morning. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed them. I know you might find this a little boring, but in the morning, you know, I think it'll be more interesting when we see what the results are. It'll be more interesting than watching them slowly come in. So we'll just check in the morning. Love you guys. Take care. Peace. Oh, I'm at Nays Garden on. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm at Nays Garden on Twitter, and I put up a new video. It's at Truthier News. I tweeted it at Nate's Garden, though. I can't remember, but it's at Truthier News on YouTube. New video. Really cool video I put up about Jimmy Dore. So check that one out, man. You know, share that one on Twitter. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Love y'all. Bye.